Reconstruction, whether it was Jim Crow. Now I think we pay a little bit of a price for the advancements we've made more recently. When you really think about it, right, they've got reason to be worried in their mind. You've got more black senators than ever before. In my industry, you've got more black people running venture capital funds, private equity funds, private credit funds.
Walter Jr. referring to the groundswell of anti-DEI sentiment coming after a time when those same ideas saw lots of support in 2020. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Pros, find the right flooring for the job in Lowe's newly redesigned flooring showroom. Shop our expanded assortment of trusted brands and get up to 35% off style selections, Stainmaster, and Stainmaster Pet Protect Special Order Carpet. And while you're here, save $100 on a DeWalt 20-volt max 6-amp-hour 2-pack of batteries, now just $179. Get more of what you need faster and save more where it counts from the ground up. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 8/26 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269 DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. Yesterday, I was out of pocket, professionally, not proverbially. And with me being gone yesterday, there was a conversation that I believe I missed. I'm assuming that at least some of my colleagues were able to touch on the previous weekend's events. I did not get my opportunity to do so, and I would like to share with you my sentiments about what transpired at the Wisconsin State Fair. Now, I'm also going to say I should probably give this disclaimer that, okay, it's an isolated incident, right? Every single day of the state fair wasn't racked with violence at Spin City, but these things happen consistently. And so I asked a question in the Hughes Views Facebook group. And if you're not a member, by all means, it's where we post information and post the story links that I may reference on this program on Facebook rather, so that you all don't inbox me and ask me, Sherwin, where's the link to that story? I post most of that stuff in that Facebook group. And it's also a place where you all can sound off on the issues of the day and also post your relevant stories. I do stress the word relevant because sometimes y'all just see a funny meme on the internet and put it in the Hughes Views Facebook group. Those posts will not be approved. However, I digress. And whenever I ask the question, it's a very simple question. Why are these kids fighting so much? The answers that I receive shows something that is very, very clear, and that is why I want to have this conversation today, because it's not about the single incident that took place at State Fair. I also don't want to just wrap this whole conversation up in whatever crime numbers are, because the statistics tell a much different story. And as I was going through, the different comments that people were leaving as to why these kids fought at State Fair, one of my favorite responses, because we talk about this stuff often, and I believe that we are a community, not that we all have the exact same education levels or income or even the same expectations for our families, for ourselves, and for our future. I believe that we are a community. I'm not just talking about black people here. I'm talking about people that can be impacted by the actions of one another. I'm talking about the greater community where, for the most part, I think we all want some of the same things. I think there's a commonality that exists amongst all of us. All of us want to be reasonably happy, want to have a little money in our pockets. I think that we want to feel safe. We want to make sure that our children have the opportunities to succeed. I think there are things that bind us together. And so when I talk about community, that is what I'm speaking in terms of, this broader conversation of people that just have a bunch of similar interests, you see. And so when I ask the question, why are these kids fighting so much? It's everything from, well, they're not properly disciplined at home. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that there's an expectation or an understanding that these kids are being treated, pun intended, with kid gloves, and parents just dismiss their kids' bad behavior. I believe it's actually quite the opposite, where there are some of you that do believe in corporal punishment. When a child acts up, then you give them a spanking, or you get out a belt or a wooden spoon or whatever your method of violence is. I think that these kids are getting punched in their faces. I think that they're literally being beat up by their parents. I've seen it, because a young mother or a young father whose frontal lobe ain't even developed themselves, that has very little patience and might be under the influence of a number of different substances, and we have to have a conversation about that. Y'all see the pitfalls of legalizing marijuana is not going to benefit our community because we can't deal with our problems when we're sober. I think these parents are beating these kids up. That's what I think. And I also think that violence, that we couch that violence in a different kind of language. We frame it differently by saying, well, no, that's discipline. The kid sees it as they're getting beat up by their parents. They also see that if you use physical force, if you use physical violence to try and modify or correct somebody's behavior, I think that's where a lot of the fighting comes from. But one of the other responses that is fairly common is, oh, these kids don't have anything to do. They don't have any outlets. What can we build them? If they are illustrating how they will conduct themselves when they're in somebody else's space, somebody else's town. And here's the thing about the state fair. I can't even tell you the last time I went to the Wisconsin State Fair. Let me tell you why. Because the food there is disgusting. I don't want to eat fried cockroaches on a stick. I don't want nothing on a stick. Or maybe a corn dog, but you can get a corn dog at the Metro Market. I don't need to go to the state fair and pay for parking in somebody's front yard to get a damn corn dog on a stick. It's an exhibition of Wisconsin agriculture. It's cows and it's pigs and it's chickens, and it smells like poop all over the place, and you got some stupid rides. It's just not for me. But if we're to give our young people this outlet, apparently, that they so desperately crave, because we allow them to go to the state fair, which I believe is and should be an outlet for the youth, because there's games, there's carnivals there, carnival rides, there's carnies. Is that offensive to call a carny a carny? You know what a carny is. They're toothless people that love the crystal meth, and they travel all around the country, and they set up carnival rides, and they're very scary. If a carny ever invites you to the back of the Ferris wheel, by all means, please don't go. We may never see you again. I'm digressing. This is what happens when I'm out of pocket for one day. But if young people are acting in this particular manner when they should be on their best behavior because they're in somebody else's place, they're in somebody else's space, they are at an event, and I would argue the Wisconsin State Fair should be for everybody, but what is this damn fascination we have with rural Wisconsin? I don't understand that. At some point during today's program, if I can get to it, I want to have a deeper conversation about data centers. Why do we care what rural people think? You understand that we need to be a hub for technology? Because Wisconsin don't really offer much else. Other than travel and tourism in Milwaukee, Wisconsin is an industry-less state. I mean, we make some paper in the Fox Valley. We manufacture and we produce ginseng. But other than that, and here's the thing, since when do we have more of a deep affection for the wants and needs of people in rural Wisconsin? At the same time, we're using the technology that requires these data centers to be built because when they were destroying our neighborhoods to build the freeway that could connect those rural communities to the economic engine of Milwaukee, those rural folks didn't care about us. So why this deep affection for them? Build the data center. Now, hold on. We got to do so with some limits and some parameters. There's good data centers. There's bad data centers. You make them pay for their energy. If they're going to be stressing out the grid, then maybe they got to pay for those infrastructure improvements. But Wisconsin cannot be known as a place that is hostile to 21st century technology, or those businesses and companies will go somewhere else. I am perplexed why we care so much about rural Wisconsin. Rural Wisconsin and some of those cities and towns got a 1,000% increase in their shared revenue. Swimming in money. You know how much money Milwaukee got? 10% increase in shared revenue, barely enough to cover the pensions we got to pay cops and firefighters and their spouses. So I don't know where this affection came from, but I live in the city. I'm worried about city stuff. I don't care what's going on in Ashkamunga. Sorry, but Ashkamunga don't care what's going on here. We're going to talk about that later because I'm real hot on this data center thing. Y'all over here feeling sorry for these people. You ever see what rural Wisconsinites say about Milwaukee residents? Yet for some reason, we are taking their issues in these little small podunk towns that have literally nothing, and we're elevating it to the level to where David Crowley is now being called Data Center Dave. Call him that. In fact, give me a data center nickname. I feel jealous and left out. Super Data Sherwin. Please don't get me started on that. We got to talk about this youth violence issue. Here's the part that I don't get, and this is probably my old age and maybe my ability to critical think, and maybe because my frontal lobe has been developed for, I don't know, better than a quarter century. Why would you want to ruin somebody else's time? Somebody else is going to have a good time at the fair. They want to go and eat a bunch of things on a stick, a cheesecake on a stick, a pizza on a stick, some bugs on a stick. They want to eat a bunch of things at the fair, and they want to walk around, and they want to smell the pig poop, which is disgusting, by the way. I saw a documentary on fried chicken that's on Netflix. The name is escaping me, and it's an African-American man, but he's a peculiar one because he's from England. I'm always thrown back a little bit when I see an African-American man with an English accent. I don't like it. I don't want you to talk like that, sir. Why do you talk like a king? You're not. You're just English. But he eats fried chicken 3 meals a day for 30 days. So he does a bunch of health tests in the beginning of this documentary where he experiments. I guess he's documenting. I guess it is an experiment with his health because he talks about the proliferation of what they call chicken shops in Western Europe, particularly in England and all throughout London. They got more fried chicken places in London than we have per capita here. It's insane. And he's like, we grew up eating it, and everybody eats fried chicken, and we love fried chicken. He also delves into the stereotypes of African Americans and fried chicken. But I've talked about this before on previous programs. Every single culture eats fried chicken. The Koreans eat fried chicken. The Chinese fried chicken. Even the Italians, they fry their chicken. Chicken Parmesan is breaded and fried chicken with marinara sauce and mozzarella on it. Everybody eats the fried chicken, but for some reason, black people eat fried chicken. So he eats fried chicken 3 meals a day for 30 days, and his health suffers dramatically in just 30 days. But he's also eating it 3 times a day. And then he goes to these farms where our chickens are produced. And it's literally disgusting. And I love food. You guys know that. Once you get me started talking about food, the show is ruined because I'm probably going to talk about food for the duration of the program. I love food so very much. So I saw this documentary 2 weeks ago. I have not eaten chicken since and don't even crave it because what I saw and how these chickens are produced is absolutely disgusting. The way they have to grow them and the hormones they inject in them where the chickens are dying from heart attacks because their breasts grow so big. Because when you go and buy chicken, you want a big chicken breast. That's value for your money. But the things they have to do to these birds, they literally collapse under their own weight and they're laying in their own filth. They're so big and so heavy because of these hormone injections that these chickens get because we as consumers demand a big old chicken breast. These chickens are literally dying. And so every so often, the people who own these chicken farms have to go in and pluck out the dead chickens where the alive chickens are just mixing and mingling with the carcasses of other chickens. It's so disgusting. It's so bad. But I also have been able to separate what chicken looks like on a plate versus a feathered bird. To me, they're almost two totally different things. But this documentary, my God. Oh, it's filthy and disgusting. Now, don't worry. I'll be back to eating chicken again. It's just, I got to get that documentary behind me. About the youth now. Some say that they don't have an outlet, but if we built them one, and I don't even know what it would look like. You know, I still have my MPS recreation guide, which is like, I don't know, 70 or 80 pages of a whole bunch of activities. Why parents aren't signing their kids up for that. And here's what's crazy. When I talked about it, I don't know, a couple months ago, I was like, hey, summer's coming, everybody. These kids are going to be acting wild. Here's the recreation book. I went through a whole bunch of pages and a whole bunch of different offerings. Some of the stuff is actually really cool. Learning to cook. You can play an instrument. There's all sorts of dance. Lots of constructive activities. There's a whole bunch of different pools throughout MPS where the kids can go and swim. There's just a lot of stuff to do. And the number one thing that I heard from y'all, which was terribly disappointing, because I knew that this summer was going to be bad because it's one of the easiest predictions you can possibly make. Every single summer, and we feel powerless to do anything about it. That's why I asked the question in the Hughes Views Facebook group. Nobody has an answer. People even saying, oh, well, because Milwaukee is a violent city and the kids are going to be violent. Wait, what? And then there's always the proverbial, well, we were fighting too. No, the hell we were not, because when we were youth, we didn't want to lose what we had. Not to mention, we wouldn't go somewhere else to another city, another town, another suburb, and act a fool out there because we were highly in tune to how white people think about us in the first place. And I know some of y'all don't care about that, but they still control too much of our future and too much of our fate because as black people, we own nothing. Nothing. I can't even get y'all to buy houses, but you'll pay $2,000 a month in rent and your furnace doesn't work. It's so frustrating because this also harms our political representation. Like, you think that David Crowley is not going to wear the sins of our youth when he is campaigning statewide? You think he's not? They're going to say, okay, we don't know this David Crowley guy. And believe it or not, there are people that literally have never heard of him before. Because why would you know the county executive from Milwaukee County? Or they just got familiar with him with the squeaker of a win that he got during the primary. And they say, okay, we don't know this David Crowley guy. Okay, what does he do? Oh, he's the Milwaukee County executive. Let me see what's going on in Milwaukee County. And depends on what your search parameters are. The news and the information that comes up when you search what's going on in Milwaukee County, I promise you it ain't good. And I can understand somebody from far away that does not know him, does not know us, doesn't know the dynamics of this county might say, I'm not voting for him because his county is a mess, especially the youth. Take a break, come back, talk to Linda on the other side. We're going to have to get to the bottom of this because all I'm seeing is us making up excuses. And then here's the worst part about it all. So I asked this question in the Hughes Views Facebook group. And there's always the white person that says, well, Sherwin, the murder rate is down and at least they're not shooting each other. How low of a standard can you have for black youth behavior. It's almost like I'm glad they're fighting and destroying public spaces because at least they're not shooting. So wait, it's an either or. How about they do neither? How about you go to the fair and get fat and eat stuff on a stick and get cotton candy? Cotton candy is gross, by the way, but for some reason Bailey Coleman likes cotton candy? The weird stuff that I remember when I listen to other people's shows. All right, let me take a break, come back. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Why the violence? Why the fighting? What are you fighting over? Well, it used to be this one girl was mad at another girl because the something boyfriend. Okay, well, then they fight. But why don't you do it in the parking lot or do it somewhere else? Meet at McGovern Park. Sounds like a nice place to fight, and they fight, and after a while, people break it up. First of all, if people have a legitimate beef, don't break the fight up so early. Let them get it out. As long as they're not picking up like rocks and bricks, let them fight it out. Don't break it up so fast. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Earn now, spend later at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Now through August 26th, rewards members earn $10 in Blaine's Bucks for every $100 spent in store. Redeemable just like cash September 3rd to the 16th. Right now, save $5 on estate lawn fertilizer, weed and feed, or winterizer. Rewards members save an extra $5. Plus, new and only at Blaine's, Ever Elm women's tees are on sale for just $9.99. Earn Blaine's Bucks now to spend later, just like cash. Only at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we know inspiration's in full swing this time of year. So bring us your wild ideas, and we'll bring the value on the quality supplies you need to make it happen at unbeatably low prices. Right now, during our summer jeans sale, get a free $20 Blaine's gift card when you spend $70 on Lee jeans for the family. Men's full blue brand jeans, just $10.99. Plus, in automotive, Kurt trailer hitches and accessories are 10% off. Find value on everything to do your thing. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I got no self-control, and baby, I got no self-control, and baby,
Girl, you know what?
I don't want to tolerate excuses for why young people are acting in this way. And if you want to be a bleeding heart and if you want to feel sorry for them, fair enough, but don't call me with that stuff, because I think that people have such a low standard for black children, and it's killing us, because if we have a low standard for their behavior, we'll also have a low standard for their academic success. Nobody puts high standards on black kids because we think that they're dumb or they're stupid or because they're poor. That's insane to me. It's insane. It's like we've just given up on them. Oh, well, they're going to fight because, what are you saying? They're a lower order of being? You know, there's a whole bunch of people in this country that think that we're monkeys. And when we act that way, all we're doing is confirming it. It's disgusting because that's not who we are, but sometimes that is the only interaction or the only perspective the people that don't actually know black people get, and they see us acting like this. And it makes no sense. They show all this footage, and it's blasted all over the internet. It's all on the local websites. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, the media is making us look bad. Why do we keep giving the media stuff to put out there if we're concerned about looking bad? Isn't there some responsibility that needs to be put on us? But that's the other thing. Nobody takes responsibility for anything. It's like if I'm fat, it's not because, and maybe there's a medical issue or a thyroid issue. There's sometimes biological factors. Sometimes it's genetic. If you're fat, sometimes you're fat because you just eat a lot of food and don't exercise, and you love McDonald's so very much. But then what do? Let's sue McDonald's because I'm fat. Or when the Kias and the Hyundais were getting stolen, instead of us dealing with the issue of car theft from a law enforcement perspective or whatever other means we have to deal with grand larceny, we sue the car companies. Did you all know that Milwaukee sued the car companies because their cars are too easy to steal, so we sued them? What? Somebody breaks into my house. Do I sue the lock company? Let's talk to Linda. Linda, you're on 101.7 The Truth.
Good morning, Professor. It's a good day in Milwaukee. Oh, I should say a great day. However, I'm going to make this quick because I got ADT here. But Sherwin, I've been thinking about this all weekend, and it's very, heartbreaking, upsetting. But Milwaukee, Wisconsin needs to get tough on teens and social vandalism. And I just think that we need to create a law a law or an ordinance that holds parents accountable, where they have to pay a ticket or an ordinance, and if they don't pay it, they spend 10 days in jail. We need to get tough on teens and crime and negligent parents, for real. And I think that if we create a law or ordinance or a policy where they have to pay for their negligence and social vandalism caused by their teens, their children, while they going to Atlanta to Rick Ross' party, it just needs to be recognized, because the worst of us is not the definition of the best of us, for real. That's my take as a disciplinarian, as an educator, and as a person that took advantage of these systems in Milwaukee that work, like the recreation department. I raised my sons in that until they got of age to get into the basketball, thing. But when my granddaughter, I put her in the recreation. I am finna start swimming classes at recreation, because these are the things that work. Our communities that are doing great things, taking back pride in their communities, that works. And I'm calling the chief and the mayor and the governor, and I'm going to strongly suggest, that we get tough on teens by citing them and their parents for being negligent. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Have a great day.
You too. Appreciate your call. I'm so glad she said that. You hear that sentiment? You hear that passion coming from her, that she wants to get tough on this stuff and even hold the parents accountable? I think I understand her emotion, because it's a very emotional issue, because it's very frustrating, because I think there's a lot of us that see what our potential is, but our potential is being stifled by this bad behavior, right? But her passion, she's like, oh, no, she's going to talk to the mayor and the police chief and the governor. I don't know if they're going to do a whole hell of a lot, but you hear that sentiment? Does that sound like defund the police to you? So those of you that try to call black people woke and say we want to defund the police, no, what I heard was more law enforcement. What I heard from Linda in 2026 is very similar to what we heard from black people, black communities, and black families all over the country before the 1994 crime bill was signed into law. When we get fed up, we want more law enforcement. So we got to stop pretending like, oh, we don't like the police. We love the damn police, especially when we call them. We want them to show up right away. Now, the problem with policing is you don't know what kind of officer you're going to get. You don't know what kind of training they're going to get. You don't know what kind of mood they're going to be in. You don't know what kind of customer service you're going to receive. Because there are instances, and it's documented, where if you are a legitimate victim and you call the police, the cop will run you for warrants. And you called the police and you want to report a crime. You might be the only eyewitness to a damn murder, but now you're locked up because they ran your background. So there are people that legitimately don't call the police. The other thing is, when it comes to immigration, this is something that needs to be discussed more. If you're not an American citizen and you're in this country right now where you can be deported, literally taken away from your family anywhere you can go to the Metro Market to get some Bengay. You can go to Metro Market because you want to get some California peaches and they are in season. You may never come back home again because ICE may swoop you up. So there are people who are insecure about their citizenship, and sometimes they're the only witnesses to crime, and they never report it because they're afraid if they report it that they're going to get deported. So the sentiment that Linda has, I think that's one that is widely shared by a lot of African Americans. We're not anti-crime, we're not anti-police, rather. In fact, in some cases, when we get fed up, we want more police. We want more law enforcement. We want more laws. Now, here's what would happen if we use Linda's example, because this has been tried before. In fact, I think there's a parent couple that did not secure the firearms in their home, and their teenage son got a hold of that firearm and shot some kids at their high school. And those parents are doing like 5 and 15 years respectively, or something like that. So that was an example of, we're going to hold these parents accountable. Let's say we did something like that here. Kids go out to the state fair or whatever, and they fight. We cite the child. Here's what you can't do legally. if someone didn't commit a crime, and I don't know how any defense attorney could probably get a parent's responsibility thrown out because the parent wasn't there. They can have plausible deniability. I don't know where my child was at. I don't know they were going to fight. I didn't commit the crime. You can't hold me responsible. But if a 15-year-old gets a $205 disorderly conduct ticket, chances are the parent is going to be financially responsible for it. But if we held parents accountable, like your kid commits a crime, we're going to hold you also responsible. So what is that going to do to the black community? The mama, the daddy, and the kid are all going to be incarcerated. So there will be consequences to that. But that's not getting to the root of the damn problem. Because I don't know if y'all know this, having a whole bunch of laws to try and rectify people's behavior or curb some of their most outrageous tendencies, it doesn't work. It just locks up more people. They don't change. You can have the death penalty in a state. You think that deters murder? Go look it up. I'll let you do it. Y'all are smart people. The states that have the death penalty still have the highest damn murder rates. So more laws is not the answer, and locking up parents is not the answer. What you're going to have is let's say we did that. Kid commits a crime, misdemeanor, car theft, whatever. Oh, we're going to hold the parents responsible too. We're going to give the parents 2 years, going to give the child 3. 30 years later, everybody's going to say, oh, my God, these laws are racist against black children, against black parents, because look how many black people and parents were locked up. We're just repeating history, like right in front of our own eyes. I'm going to take a break, come back, talk to a couple folks on the other side. I want to get to the bottom of this. If you're going to fight, just fight at home. Like invite somebody to come to your house or go somewhere, go fight behind the school, under the bleachers or something. Why are you doing it in other places? Why are you ruining somebody else's time? But I also think it goes to show the sentiment and the mentality of these young people. They don't care. They don't care. It's on sight for them. If they see somebody they don't like, they don't care who's around. Y'all, they don't even care if the police are around. I don't know about you all, but when I was younger, in the 20th century, when the world was very different, I didn't want to get arrested by the police. Sometimes we wouldn't even be doing anything wrong. We see the cops and just start running. Like, we don't want to chance it. Let's just get out of here. Ooh, what is that, a squad car? Let's go the other way. These kids will literally fight each other and pull guns out in front of the police. Like, that should be terrifying to all of us. If you're dealing with a cohort of young people that aren't even afraid of the police, if they're not scared of the police, and the police can kill you. The police can kill you and get vacation time. The police can kill you and get duty disability. A cop can kill a person. Say, oh, that was stressful. I murdered somebody. I'm sorry. I shot somebody in the line of duty. I'm so stressed out. You know what duty disability is? You give them $60,000 a year for the rest of their life, health insurance and a full pension, and they don't have to be a cop anymore because killing somebody stressed them out. I've seen it happen. I'll have more conversation on the other side. Millicent and Linda, you guys stay put. I'll come right back to you. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee Public School families, the first day of school is Tuesday, September 1st, and there's still time to enroll. MPS offers programs to fit every learner, including bilingual, Montessori, special education, and more. All MPS students receive free breakfast and lunch. Enroll today at milwaukeepublicsschools.org/enrollment or visit MPS Student Services at 5225 West Vliet Street, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you for choosing MPS.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative,
and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, hey, hey.
833-212-1017 is our phone number. Let's talk to Millicent. Hey, Millicent, how are you?
I am well. How are you this morning?
Doing all right. What do you think about all the youth violence, the fights?
I agree with you about the parents being punished like that, but there is a way to get them. And before I say what I'm going to say, I don't want anyone to say, what about the other kids? Because that's not our problem. If your child is given a ticket for disorderly conduct and he's found guilty, or if he gets into some kind of trouble and you're in public housing, you get food stamps, you get any public assistance, it should be cut off. Because if I'm giving you taxpayer money to help you and you still can't control your children, you don't need that money. That will eliminate this. Once they find out you can't feed the other kids because your stamps, they taking it from your stamps, they'll fix it. They'll fix it before taking them to jail. They'll fix it then. You find out you can't live in city housing or in Section 8 housing because your son is out here clowning or your daughter is out here clowning, you'll fix that problem because you need some place to go and you have other kids.
Millicent, what about, let me just play devil's advocate, because not all of these parents that have unruly kids are receiving stamps in public housing. It might be a little bit of a stereotype. What do you do with parents? It could be a two-parent home. They both work full-time, and maybe they're just absent parents because they're working so much and they have a mortgage. How do you punish them? Because you can't take their mortgage if their kids are acting up. Public housing, sure.
You know that tax refund you get? No, you don't get it. You know all the things that the city gives you, you do not get. Because even the people who don't need assistance, you still need something. Whether it's your kid going to school, you need something. But we have to take out trying to embrace these people. They're not embraceable. You're not going to fix them. Just like you said, there's no changing them. So any monies we're putting into them is a waste.
All right, let's leave it there, Millicent, because otherwise it's going to get weird.
Okay.
All right, thank you for your call. That she just goes off on these. The longer she goes, she's fantastic, by the way, but the longer she goes, the more punitive she gets. Eventually, had I kept Millicent on the phone for, 90 more seconds, well, if your kid's acting up, we're not going to plow your snow on your street and we ain't going to pick up your garbage. You're going to have to fend for yourself. Now, if you take her original sentiment, okay, if you're receiving some kind of public benefit and your kids are acting up and you're receiving stamps and getting public housing, and we cut that off, now you got to deal with a homeless problem. And so I think that would be compounding the issue. So I don't think that you can do that. Some of it certainly is cultural, where because I try and make sense out of this, and I'm trying desperately. That's why I'm reaching out to you all, because maybe you all know something or see something that I can't. And I will admit I sometimes have blinders on, because I keep and maintain a high standard for Black people, because I know that when you set a high standard for us, we exceed it. But also, if you set a low standard for us, we'll go lower than that, you see. And so I think that I have a real specific set of viewpoints on this. I listen to and I watch the social media content. There's a whole bunch of Instagram, and some of it is social media. You go out and you act a fool in public, and you get the footage. We just have this obsession with just seeing violence all up and down our timelines, whatever. And it's like when there's fights and there's violence going on, the kids get excited, like, "Oh, we outside. It's lit out here." I'm like, there's nothing lit about it. You all got to go home at 9:00. Y'all went out there and you closed. That's the white people's fair. Ain't no black sponsors of the state fair. I don't even know how many black vendors they have, but that's neither here nor there. That's them people's thing. Wisconsin State Fair is 170, 175 years old, where people go and they show their cows and their pigs and their sheep, and they got auctions for the cows. It's an agricultural exhibition. That's their thing. And I don't take that away from them. Hell, they don't even have it in the city. It's in West Dallas, so we got to travel outside of where we live to go to their thing. Let white folks have their damn thing. We want a state fair so bad. Let's have a black state fair. Wait a minute. Don't know if we want to necessarily have an auction, because you never know. We might get an auction if we had an all-black state fair. I might buy one of y'all. Highest bidder, Sherwin Hughes. I'm put you to good use. Why you going out there? You made them white folks go home an hour early on the last day of the fair. But I knew something was up. Let me tell you how I knew something was up, because on my Facebook timeline, anybody got any state fair tickets? Like, I saw this like flood of people asking, and you know what kind of people, asking for free, who got state fair tickets left over, because I knew that something was going to happen on that last day, because the other 10 days of the fair, I didn't see people posting incessantly, oh, who's got tickets to the fair, but it's always on that last day, and that's when everything came to a head. But if you think about it rationally, imagine what's a Black Arts Fest, MKE, or Juneteenth Day. And then I think we have like an African celebration at one of the Milwaukee County parks. Could you imagine? Think for a second now, because I need us to be able to see both sides of the issue. Let's say we have a black cultural exhibition, and a bunch of white kids from Greendale, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Franklin descended on a beautiful black event, a cultural exhibition of black culture where it's nothing but love, and it's black vendors, and it's black art, and it's black music. And imagine a bunch of white kids came and fought and shut down our black cultural exhibition. Because you imagine if they had to close Juneteenth Day down, it already ends early, that they had to close it even earlier because a bunch of white kids from somewhere else came into our neighborhood and ruined our cultural exhibition. Do you know how mad we would be? Now I want you to empathize with them, because every time a white person speaks out about our behavior, it ain't about race, because quite honestly, we would be even more angry if a bunch of white kids came into our community and shut down an African World Festival or Black Arts Fest, MKE. Think about how mad we would be, that we might have planned all year to have our art on display. We might have planned all year for this Black Arts and Entertainment and Cultural Festival. We might have planned all year to have some of those music acts perform, and a bunch of white kids from the suburbs are coming out there and fighting and making us have to close early. We'd be ready to burn the damn city down. Think about that for a second. Let's talk to Lisa. Hey, Lisa, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm good, Sherwin. How are you?
Doing all right. What's on your mind?
You know, that's a good idea. We do need a black state fair. But I haven't been to state fair since I was 7 or something. Do I tend to go back? No. Never, ever want to go back. I have nothing to do with animals. I don't want to smell them, and I don't want to see them.
So then why do we need a black state fair? We don't own farms.
Well, you know what? Some people go, some black people go because they said they go for the rides. I say, you done lost your mind. You're going to pay $25 for parking, $25 to get in. You could go to Great America and ride all you want to all day long for a lesser price. But anyway, I don't think we should we shouldn't penalize parents for their children's bad behavior. Let me tell you why. Because first of all, I had two parents, one strict one and one, my mother was, she was kind and sweethearted and everything. But our parents disciplined us. But my oldest brother, he was a problem. He was always trouble, okay? I feel, And we were raised right. Oh, God, we were raised right. But my brother was a comedian in school, But we were raised right. I feel these kids, now fighting, you can forget that. And there was all type of gangs around. They knew the gang members, but they weren't stupid enough to join a gang because then they had to meet the real gang leader, and that was my father. But anyway, you have these kids that go out here, and they want to do stupid things like fighting. What we should do is, and I think we should do this, we should get them into jail. Put them in jail. Not amongst adults, but put them in jail. And then when you put them in jail, let's torture them.
Whoa, Lisa!
I'm going to give you, no, hold on. This is how you torture them. I'm going to give you 2 books. You're going to learn reading and you're going to learn math. I'm going to give you 2 books. You're going to learn a book a week. When you read that book a week, you got to give me like a 10-page essay on that book. Math, I'm going to give you algebra, geometry, trigonometry. And I might throw in another math, whatever, to torture you, then test you on that, okay? Then we're going to get together. If the person you fought with is in a jail with you, we're going to, put you guys together so you can talk it out. You can, like I said, you can fight it out. You can fight all day till you're tired. But at the end of the day, you're going to resolve your issue. And you're going to be in the cell, a cell, your cell, 23 hours a day. I might let you out to see some sun, but you will be there 23 hours a day.
All right,
Okay?
Lisa, we got to leave it there because I got to take a break and I got another call on hold. But we get your point. Torture them by giving them academic rigors and putting them in the cell with the person that they fought. That's insane to me. But also, listen to what she's saying. That's doubling down on incarceration, even though that idea is a little wild. You're also going to find out these kids can't read. They can't do geometry. You can't, here, do this geometry, and then that's going to be your lesson. I also come to find out that if you are the dumb kid in class, you get more attention. You get more special need. You get more special care. You get the special classroom and stuff. There's no one. Here's the thing. If you pretend not to know how to do your homework, the attention that you get, I think that's part of the addiction. If you're doing everything you're supposed to do in the classroom, you just continue on. You just do the next chapter. But if you don't get it, if you don't understand, if you can't pass, they do all this stuff for you. You get catered to, you get coddled to. So there's almost an incentive to not want to be involved in your classwork. I can't prove this, but I do know that the amount of effort, resource, and attention that we give to the kids that are not doing well for whatever reason, I think that they see that. You get more out of not doing your homework. You get, what's wrong? We got to treat this one special. Let's put them in a special class and do all the special things. And you have a shorter school day. Now we're going to put you in alternative school. And also there's utility in that because if I can illustrate, there are a whole bunch of children that are under grade level in reading and math. I get to ask you, the public, for more money, and you cough it up every single time. Can't fall into that trick. So you got the kids that, whether they're dumb or not, they'll play dumb to get special attention. And then, of course, you'll have the district that'll say, we got a bunch of dumb kids. We need more money. And here goes the public coughing up more money and then have the nerve to complain about affordability. You know how much money we could save if our kids could read? We'd be running around here naked. Well, maybe some of y'all would keep your socks on because some of y'all are weird like that. You don't get fully naked. You just leave your socks on. But that's okay. I'll take it. If our kids could read. And who do we blame for that? The whites? Racism? State fair? The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, have you ever lost power in a bad storm and then opened up a bill that was somehow higher than the month before? Or gotten a disconnection notice, fallen behind, and just couldn't catch up? We've been through a lot together. Now We Energies wants to raise rates again. The Public Service Commission is listening, and this is your chance. Comment now, or come speak in person at Marquette University the first week of September. Learn more at walnutway.org.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling. The limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's gonna be a friend. I ever fall in love again, I'll be a friend. Yeah. I like them cool and kinda cocky, not too much to make it move. And try to lock me, try to take away the jewels. You cannot stop it, gotta understand.
I'm looking at the YouTube comments, and it's just prison, build more prison. Y'all know that we cannot incarcerate our way out of this problem. I thought we learned that. Because all we gonna do sometime later, when all the data is meted out, these increased penalties, sending everybody to jail, sending the parents to jail, locking the kids up, is going to end up looking like a racial disparity. Even though this is the best part about this conversation. It's black people that want the racial disparity in incarceration because black people want to get rid of some other black people. It's also the same phenomenon where, because I never really understood this until I looked at it in terms of our community's perspective. While you have some Latinos and Hispanics that are pro-Trump and anti-immigrant, don't make no sense, right? Y'all all speak the same language. Y'all all eat pasteles. Y'all all eat empanadas. Y'all all eat, what's the things in the corn husk? Tamales. I love me a tamale, by the way. But yes, some Latinos, especially the Cubans, they were like pro-Trump. Like they wanted other Latinos out of this country because the fewer Latinos that are in this country illegally, the more economic opportunity there is for the Latinos that actually got their citizenship. So I think there's some part of African-American culture that wants to get rid of certain black people, and we'll have these behavioral standards or whatever the standard is, but whatever we can do to get rid of some of them, because that gives more opportunity for the rest of us. Or maybe we think we can live in peace with less black people. But then I would argue, now you got to deal with more white people. Let's talk to someone who, I don't know, we probably should live without him too. Hi, Bob. How are you today? I know you've got great answers for us.
Hello, Sherwin. When I was a school bus driver in Milwaukee, I had to stop the bus once a week because the kids fighting. And they said, ask me, don't put your hands on the kids because we got cameras on the bus and we have to let you go. I said, well, you're going to have to let me go because I'm not going to sit down and write kids up. And they beating each other up. One little girl said, I'm going to tell my daddy. I said, you can tell your daddy, but sit down and stop hitting this boy. And then they said I was going to quit. And then they gave me a mentally ill bus, little bus.
Perfect bus for you to be driving.
Because I didn't have no accidents, and I was there every day. And
So, Bob, you were driving a short bus?
Not in the beginning. I was driving a big bus in Milwaukee.
And then they put you on a short bus. You was in the short bus.
For the first year, I was with the big bus, and then I was going to quit, and then they put me in a small bus.
How long were you on? Hold on, Bob. How long was you driving the short bus?
1 year.
Okay.
And I stopped. I quit the company and I went to Germantown.
Oh, boy.
And do you know what was interesting? So I don't know if it's the kids or the parents. I didn't have to stop the bus one time. 3 years I drove the bus and then I had a stroke. That Germantown the last year, I didn't have no fights.
Why do you think that
is?
Tell me why that
is. They was all white kids. That's all I saw. And they were mostly black kids in Milwaukee.
So you think it's just a race? Hold on, Bob. I want to make sure we're clear here. So you think it's just a race thing? White kids are just better behaved, at least on your school bus, than black kids are? So black kids are inherently flawed when it comes to their behavior. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's the era. The era is different. I went to the grocery store and I spent $99 and $98, $90 to $98, and then I spent $140 this week. I said,
Bob,
wow.
Hold on, Bobby, because this stuff you're starting to get into.
Bob,
hold on. I need this to make sense to people other than just yourself. You're talking about an era, right? So the era refers to a period of time. If the black kids is acting up and the white kids are not, the era is the same. We're all in the same year. The culture is the same. The music is the same. Them white kids listen to hip hop too now.
It's different, man. And when I was in Illinois, black music cut off at 12 o'clock when I was young, and that was it. And then black music go all the way all 24 hours.
So Bob,
now,
how does that explain the white kids and their behavior being better and the black kids' behavior being more poor? Because music used to cut off at 12 o'clock back in the 60s?
These white kids, they just don't fight. Them white kids didn't. Because they treated me like I ain't nothing.
What grades were the kids? What were the age
in
ranges?
high school? They were both in high school.
Okay.
And when they gave me the small bus, I bought some toothpaste, and I turned around, and them kids was eating my toothpaste and standing up on the bus. So I'd have to stop the bus anyway. So I said, and I should have stayed because I could help the kids. And
no, you can't. No, I don't think so, Bob. I don't even know if you can help yourself. They were eating your toothpaste? So, wait, this is the short bus kids. That I believe. I believe they were eating the toothpaste on the short bus.
Yeah, and then standing up and walking. So I said, I just quit, and I went to Germantown. And then I didn't have to stop the bus, and I drove for 1 year and had the stroke.
Okay. And in Germantown, kids were not. In Germantown, you was on a long bus, big bus, not a little bus.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And they were high school kids, and they didn't fight. Okay. And they looked at me like I wasn't nothing. You ain't nothing but a school with and I just smiled.
All right.
Some of them spoke, some of them didn't, because I wasn't nothing, and I just smiled.
But Bob, didn't the black kids also treat you like you weren't nothing? Because if you told them to shut up and to sit down and to stop fighting, they wouldn't respect you, correct?
No, they speak, and but
so
the
black kids. Hold on a second. So the black kids were nicer but fought more. The white kids fought less but were meaner.
Once a week.
I'm not getting anywhere. Here's the thing: we don't have a solution. Is what I'm trying to illustrate. We have no idea what to do. Take away the food stamps, lock up the parents, build more jail. We don't know what to do, and it's embarrassing because this is literally our future that we don't know what to do with. A problem that we cannot solve. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Educators Credit Union is more than a place to manage your money. They're where your financial possibilities take shape. They're more than transactions. They're conversations about your financial goals. More than numbers, they're community advocates who support free, local events that are accessible to all. They foster community because we are stronger together. Educators Credit Union is people helping people. Become a member at ECU.com. Insured by NCUA. Membership eligibility required.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we know inspiration's in full swing this time of year. So bring us your wild ideas, and we'll bring the value on the quality supplies you need to make it happen at unbeatably low prices. Right now, during our summer jeans sale, Wrangler jeans are buy 2, get 1 free. Men's full blue brand denim jeans, just $10.99. Plus, save $4 on 5 quarts of Royal Purple Motor Oil and get free nitrile gloves by mail. Find value on everything to do your thing. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original. At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we know you do things your way. So why shop the same retail giants as everyone else when we have unbeatable deals on the products you need and trust to get the job done and save you money? Right now, during our summer feed sale, 50-pound bags of AgriMaster layer poultry feed are just $10.99. Save 15% on Hillman Hardware, and 50-pound Champion's Choice salt blocks just $6.49. Find value for the work you do every day. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I guess Blaine's Farm and Fleet, they were not going to be denied their commercial airtime. For the last hour, we discussed the problem with isolated incidents, which I'm not sure how isolated they are because they're predictable, of youth behavior, and it's mostly black young people. And their response to it is, I think they almost relish in the disruptions that they cause. And maybe this is something much deeper and much psychological. I know that a common response is we got to blame the parents. Oh, the parents need to do better. Oh, I love that one. It's so simple. Well, it will just do better then. What if I applied that in other avenues? You may not be very well versed in money and finances and investing. And I can just say, well, just invest your money. Just do better with your money. People don't know how. Telling a parent to do better, like what is the standard for that parent? Whose standard is it? Because here's the thing. Some of us, because we're not involved in those kinds of below board, low vibrational activities, we think that we're the standard. No, we're not. We aren't. Because they have no trust for us. Here's what makes it worse. We have to convince those same people to vote, which I have stopped doing. I know that might anger some of you, especially because the stakes are very high in this gubernatorial election. If someone has to ask me, if a grown human being with grandchildren has to ask me why they should vote, I will tell them not to. Don't. If you don't see the importance of it, and if you can't conceptualize a future by voting for an executive or a legislator that will create a better future through policy, then you miss all of your civics lessons, you miss all of your history classes, and you just don't want better for your community. Or what I should do is drill down a little bit more. If somebody wants better for their community, because everybody does, I'm going to ask them, well, exactly how do you plan on getting that if there's not a foundation of policy? Policy is not going to fix what is wrong right now. Like, we got to take some responsibility in the decisions that we make every single day. That's number one. Number two, what elected official is going to change the trajectory of your life? Why do we expect that? Well, Sherwin, what has David Crowley done for me? Oh, I love hearing that one. What have you done for yourself? What has anybody done for you? Honestly, look at the people that send your phone, the people that called you last, the people that texted you last. When was the last time any of them did a damn thing for you? And these are your friends and these are your family that you talk to and interact with every single day. If they haven't done anything for you, why would somebody who was running for us, like, what do they owe you? We want to be able to create a policy environment that allows people to realize their full potential. If there are barriers, let's reduce them. If there's gaps in funding, let's even it out. But it's not going to change the trajectory of your life. Electing Tom Tiffany nor David Crowley is not going to change the attitude and behaviors of your kids. They're still going to act the exact same way. I could argue that some of the things that we may need, some of the critical investments in like social infrastructure and education may suffer under one administration versus another, but overnight, you're not going to notice anything. Hell, you may not notice anything for a year or two, like literally nothing. While it is awful that Donald Trump is president for a number of reasons, some of y'all are fine. Now, you don't like him, and for good reason, but you didn't lose your job. I mean, stuff is a little bit more expensive, but I don't know how he can make stuff cheaper anyway. But if I have to explain to a person, especially a black person, where we were essentially created by law. Black people had to have a legal definition before we had a human one. And I know that that's not right. That's not fair. But if you look at what policy and law can do for black people, like 10% of the Constitution is like, hey, let's make sure black people are human. Let's make sure that they can walk down the street. And there's obviously some pitfalls to that too, because when civil rights legislation was really starting to take root and then we could enter into institutions of higher education, all of a sudden now you have tuition showing up. That's not a coincidence. And so what is our response to that? Telling the kids they don't need to go to college. They never want us to go to college anyway, and now we over here affirming it. That's insane to me. Yeah, it's expensive, but you will not make a better investment than in yourself. I don't care how much it costs. And I stand on that because it's worth it. Because nobody else is going to invest in you like that. Sherwin, I don't want to spend $100,000 in myself, but you'll buy a $100,000 car when you only have $101,000 in your bank account. Make that make sense. Don't let me get off track here. I want to get to some kind of solution. Because you imagine, though, an earlier example that I gave, and it's highly unrealistic, but if you can, and some people just lack empathy, you can't like close your eyes and empathize with somebody else's situation. Like those, what do they call sociopaths or psychopaths, people that are just so arrogant and narcissistic and they just can't empathize with other people. Imagine if we have a beautiful exhibition of our culture and our art. Maybe it's Juneteenth Day. Maybe it's Black Arts Fest, MKE. Maybe it's a number of different festivals that we have. They're smaller, but they take place pretty frequently. And a bunch of white kids from the suburbs made us have to shut down early because they were fighting. We'd hate those white kids. We would blame them, wouldn't we? Absolutely. So then think about when our kids go out to another community. It's a whole, West Dallas is another city. It's a whole nother suburb. They got their own mayor, their own common council. So our kids are going out there and then acting a fool and fighting. Big groups, big fighting groups, big old bunch of people just throwing fists, kicking, whatever. And then they got to shut down early. Imagine how you got to pack your cow up. You drove all the way down from Manitowoc, and you want to make sure that everybody can see your cow because you were proud of that cow. You raised that cow from a calf, and you want to bring the cow to the state fair, and then a bunch of black people make you have to go home early. Like, oh, I raised my cow to show my cow at the state fair now because of the black kids. I got to go home early. I'd be real mad. I'd hop on my cow, and I'd plow right through that group of blacks. I mean, they don't do that, thank goodness, because that would be terrible. Or what if the people at the state fair, and state fair is overwhelmingly white, and there's blacks out there, but I mean, it's their thing. Kind of like Brewers games, which leads us to the YouTube question of the day. I'm real curious about this one because I noticed that the Brewers are having like a black day, a black heritage, black art, black something. Because black people don't go to Brewers games. That's fascinating to me as well because baseball is probably one of the more diverse professional sports. Hell, a full third of baseball don't even speak English. They speak Spanish. Like, I don't think Big Papi ever learned English. Hey, Big Papi, hey! Who do you play for? The Red Sox? Big Papi? It's very diverse, but for some reason, we don't really go to Brewers games. I haven't been there, I don't remember, 10 years maybe? No, not that long. 2020, probably 20. Did the Brewers play during COVID? They did. I might have went to a COVID game. Maybe 2021 I went to one. But I didn't buy tickets like somebody else had tickets and they didn't go or they couldn't go. And so I took their tickets. I can't remember. I don't know if I've ever paid for a Brewers ticket in my entire life. Ain't that wild? I did so the Brewers had every so often they'll do a black night. They'll do like a Negro League night where the Brewers wear Negro League jerseys and it's weird to me because it's a whole bunch of white people that don't care about that kind of stuff. But they did. Oh, God, this is horrible. So this probably was the last Brewer game I went to. They did this trivia thing in the 7th inning where you pick a person out of the crowd. And it was all like orchestrated. They already knew the person they were going to pick. But they supposedly grab a person out of the crowd. And because they were showcasing, I don't know if it was Black Night, Negro League Night, but 101.7 The Truth was the highlight. So on the big screen, they put 101.7 The Truth and our lineup and the times our show was on. It was actually pretty cool. They put up on a big the big screen. And then I, being a host, Tori did it as well. Did Kyle do it? I think there was a number of hosts that did like this contest because they wanted to feature Black people or Negro League. It was something specifically Black where they highlighted and focused on 101.7 The Truth, our radio station, and our different shows. So it was my turn to do the trivia. So they orchestrate this whole thing. You meet with a person, they go over the rules of the game, and they pick somebody out of the crowd. And I got a little note card, and I got to ask them questions, and then they got to figure out like if I show the jersey number, they got to say what player it belongs to. Very, very simple game, right? I public speak for a living. I have never been. I wasn't just nervous. I was petrified. American Family Field holds 40,000 people. And I'm standing on top of the dugout, the bullpen. It's got this wooden platform, and I'm looking up, and I had a damn panic attack. I had a panic attack that was so bad, so nobody could tell, thank God. I was so nervous, I had to bring a friend with me. Because, oh, yeah, Sherwin, just show up at 7 o'clock. We got parking for you, and then come over into this office, and we'll walk in. We'll go through the game. And it's this white girl wearing the heads. Okay, Sherwin, here's a note card. You're going to read this, and I'm going to say this, this, and this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to make sure you're speeding up, and the person we're going to pick is going to be. I'm like, what is happening to my life? And I get up there, and they announce the game. And I stood up on the platform, which is this wooden roof they have over the bullpen. And I blacked out. I don't know all I knew. I don't even know what I said. It was so bad. Not that this has anything to do with Black people going to Brewers games, but I'd never been so scared in my entire life. Like when I think about that, it's a damn nightmare. I don't know what it is. I'm usually fine. I don't care about big crowds. I've never spoken in front of a damn crowd that big. But here's what's crazy. I still maintain that on my bucket list that I want to sing the national anthem at a Bucks game. Because I could do a lot better than some of the people we've heard sing the national anthem. A couple seasons ago, they had Flavor Flav singing the national anthem. And when I saw that, I was like, Jesus Christ, I know that I could do a better job than Flavor Flav. But holy smokes did I freak out. And then so the game is over. It was only like 90 seconds, but it felt like 17 years. I felt like it took almost 2 decades to get through a 90-second segment. And I don't even remember. I remember one of the players' names because I had to announce the player's name if the lady, the quote-unquote volunteer from the crowd, and she was pre-selected ahead of time because you can't just pick somebody random out of the crowd at a Brewers game because those people get drunk. You can't do that. You can't just pick. They made it seem like it was random. It wasn't. It was some suburban white lady, probably, I don't know, mid-50s, probably from Greendale or Greenfield. And I think she even knew the answers to the questions, and we gave her some fake prize or whatever. It was horrible, just nerve-wracking. And so I asked the question on YouTube. Do you attend Brewers games? First choice is regularly. Next choice is occasionally. Next one is rarely. And then the fourth category is never. And I'd imagine that we've done some demographic stuff, but I think it may change from day to day. But for the most part, the people that participate in the YouTube chat that vote in these polls are majority African American. But the responses that I see, the percentages are in line with what I suspect. We don't go to baseball games. In the times that I have gone, and there's only been a few, I only went to County Stadium. I didn't go to County Stadium for the first time until I was probably 20 or 21 years old because I could drink. I did not go as a kid because my parents didn't go. My parents knew which white people to avoid. And technically, I think they say it's Milwaukee, but really Miller Park. No, it's not Miller Park. American Family Field. It's kind of in West Milwaukee. And West Milwaukee is a notoriously racist place. In fact, when I was a freshman in high school, when we played West Milwaukee, I played for high school football for Brown Deer. I had never been called a nigger more times in the span of 4 quarters of football in my entire life. I was like, whoa, hey, you got every single play. And the refs heard it. We told the coaches. They were yelling it in the crowd. It was really, really hostile. And then something happened where we ended up fighting them, and they had to call and cancel the game. It was a whole mess. But this is when I learned something about white people, that If you are black and grew up in segregated Milwaukee and you've never had an abundance of experience with white people, I can understand why you would hate them. Just like I can understand, I'm not saying it's right, but I understand why white people that don't have interactions with and befriend and work with and collaborate with black people, how you could hate us. Because all you see is really terrible stuff. And here's the thing about the terrible stuff that you see about black people. That's literally us doing it. So it's not like it's fabricated. You don't got to make nothing up bad about black people. The problem, though, is when you see bad black behavior, I got to sit you down for a 300-year colonial history lesson to get you to understand why you may see some of these behaviors. And ain't nobody got that kind of damn time. I'm going to sit here and explain oppression and what it shows up like and what it looks like, and then the impact and influence of capitalism and segregation and reduced school funding and the funding flaw when it comes to education, which is interesting because everybody will talk about how the funding flaw is so bad for education, but don't nobody fix it. I've been hearing about the funding flaw for 30 years. We got to fix the funding flaw. Just tell us you're not going to fix it because it allows you to give black schools less money. Black children are going to perform less, and you can push them to the menial jobs. That's basically just tell us that. Stop lying to us. But if you haven't grown up and this had a bunch of like positive, you have to have a lot of interactions with people of a different race. And I'm very fortunate in that regard. But what I saw at 14 years old as a freshman in high school is white kids that were on our team. They were also my teammates, football teammates, that punched those other white kids even harder than we did because the West Milwaukee teammates were denigrating us. It's almost like we'll handle this. Like they fought them harder. Very few black people, very few, get to have an experience where you are defended by somebody white. And this is also an unintended or maybe intended consequence of segregation. I told y'all 1,000,001 times, I should not have graduated from high school. I literally should not have. I graduated with a 1.4 grade point average, but now when I go back with my adult mind, I got screwed over so bad by my teachers. They hated my absolute guts, and some of it was race. Some of it was I was smarter than a lot of my teachers in high school. My God, did they hate that. Plus, I was bored to pieces. Like, I needed to be academically challenged, and I never was. And I hated school because it was stupid. But I found I didn't cut school because, I had Eugene and Emma to contend with, and I didn't want to hear their mouths if I got caught cutting school. So I went every day. But for me, school was more like social interaction and being cool with everybody and talking to people and getting to know people. Because Brown Deer back then was incredibly diverse. Now it's mostly black, but it was Puerto Rican kids. And I had a girl I went to school with from 5th grade named Rakishi. She was from Iraq. And I just knew all these different groups of people. And we're all kids, you know what I mean? And kids don't know how to hate each other. I mean, we'd get some strong direction and influence from our parents on who we're supposed to hate. But even if my parents told me to be cautious of the white kids, some of them were just so damn nice. I was like, Eugene and Emma, y'all got it wrong. First of all, they were from the Jim Crow South. White people would just kill you back then. They would just grab one of you off the street. Let's go string one up, and they would just murder you. So I can understand my parents wanting to instill a very healthy fear of white people in me. But what happened is, so I go to school like, oh, I got to be afraid of these white people. They're terrible. They're going to want to kill me. But then I'd ask Trisha Metzger for a pencil. She's like, here, Sherwin, take the whole pack. Or I forget my lunch money. Here, Sherwin, come share my pizza slice with me. I'm like, wait a minute. Aren't I supposed to hate you, Whitey? Might have needed some colored pencils for a particular assignment. Oh, Sherwin, it's your lucky day. My parents bought me 5 extra sets of colored pencils. Why did the white kids have so many more school supplies? They were like their own school store. Because for some reason, Sherwin never had a pencil. Because, pencils. I never had one. I'm always the kid that had to borrow a pencil. You can't ask another black kid for a pencil, that's for sure. They ain't got nothing. Black kids go to class, they ain't got no books. I don't even know why we give all these damn backpacks away. They're not going to have the backpack by the second week of school. But I had so many positive experiences. So when I needed one class to graduate, I needed to get a ridiculously high grade on my algebra final exam. And I remember that final exam was the last exam of the exam period my senior year. So when I took that test, that like the school was empty. Everybody else was done with their exams and they were all on summer break. And we were to graduate that Sunday. And I took that class was, I think the last day of school was a Thursday. And so I took my time with that algebra test because I knew I needed an impossibly high grade in order to pass the class. And if you didn't pass the class, well, you don't have enough credits in math. I would not have graduated from high school. So I'm panicking. And math is hard to study for. Either you know the concepts or you don't. So I tried my best to study. I was real worried about this, Because at the very least, I wanted to graduate from high school. So I took my test. I took my time. I was the last person to finish. And so I brought my test, my exam, up to my algebra teacher, Mr. Sherfinsky, who I will admit I gave him hell because I had him my freshman year and sophomore year for whatever math freshmen and sophomores were required to take at Brown Deer. I used to act up in his class and just act a fool. He used to kick me out of class all the time. But then it came down to I had him again my senior year. This teacher that I gave hell was going to be determining whether I got a high school diploma or not. I would say would have gotten my high school diploma on time or not, but I have a feeling I would have been so distraught by not getting my high school diploma, I maybe never would have gotten it. So I bring my test up to him. I said, Mr. Sherfinsky, I'm going to sit with you while you grade. He was like, come on, have a seat. And he's got his answer key out. He's got my test on the right side, the answer key on the left. He's going through my answers. Number one, check mark, check mark, check mark. Because back then, teachers, they use red ink, which is trauma now. Now you can't even, like if you did bad on a test, it was so marked with red ink, it looked like it was bleeding. And he just going down and just check. I'm getting everything wrong. And my eyes start to well up because I'm not graduating. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm Mr. Sherfinsky, I would relish in the fact, because I gave him so much hell, I would relish in the fact that he would stop me from getting my high school diploma. So we get to the last question. I clearly failed. I didn't get the high grade. I needed like an A- on that test, and I failed it. And I just sat there, and I was ready to accept my fate. Now I'm starting to think ahead, like, what are my parents going to say? What are my other family members going to say? He said, I'm not going to do that to you. He said, I seen you grow up and mature. He said, I'm going to give you whatever grades you need so you can go ahead and get your life started. At that moment, I couldn't hate white people. I couldn't, even if I wanted to, because if he was actually playing by the rules, he was like, no, you got to take this class over, blood. No, you go in the summer. You're not you need to learn this math. I'm not sending you out into the world without knowing this math. But he did it anyway. And from that moment on, it changed me. So I was 18, just barely. But it encouraged me to find the good in everyone, including finding the good in myself. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Interested in volunteering? Visit truthfamilyfest.com or by emailing Sierra, CIERRA.brown@MilwaukeeBlackMedia.com. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, Department of Community Wellness and Safety, AB Core, Tap In MKE, and Ascension.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Spaces are limited. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkeprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I once had somebody tell me that Frankie Valli is one of the best singers of all time. No way. Like, oh, Frankie Valli is better than all the Motown singers. To that, I vehemently disagree. I don't know enough. The Italians, the Italians they're weird. I'll tell you what about the Italians. Oh, they make a fine mostaccioli.
I thought they love Frank Sinatra.
Oh, they love him too. Well, everybody loves Frank. Frank was a real gangster. I like the old blue eyes. He was good. Every so often, I play a little Frank Sinatra when I'm in that mood. I sometimes think that I was born in the wrong era because there was something about the late 1950s, early 1960s culturally in America. But also, I got to remember, if you're in the wrong part of the country and you're black in the 1950s, 1960s, it wasn't a good time. You know what I mean? If you were in a more enlightened or more liberal part of the country, like, I don't know, somewhere in Northern California or
San Francisco.
That's almost too much. Hippies are dirty.
What's your problem with hippies?
I just said they're dirty. And also, don't be fooled, because don't y'all hate boomers?
Who?
People just I don't care about boomers, because I look at the baby boomer generation as different. Like, they were fighters and they were crusaders and they were protesters. And I think that they moved the needle forward really for all people, black people in particular. So our black baby boomers are heroes, white people not so much. But here's the duplicity that I see. So the hippies all turn into like corporatists and turn into MAGA and turn into the boomers that y'all hate. What did y'all think the boomers were when they were kids? They were idealistic and they were protesting the Vietnam War, mostly because they didn't want to go. They tuned in, they turned on, they dropped out, they were doing drugs, they were doing acid, they were humping each other all the time. The hippies used to hump and they were dirty. Yuck. They're gross. No thanks. Not for me. But then they turned into the boomer. Like, that was literally their generation. So I don't romanticize the hippies. They're yucky. I'm driving in today. I'm so fascinated. I'm fascinated by just regular stuff that I see. Like, I don't have to go and do exotic things to have stuff to talk about. Just regular stuff that you may come in contact with, or stuff that you just witnessed. And Milwaukee is the place that just keeps on giving. So much, so good people watching here. That is one thing I'll say about the State Fair. Oh, man, the people watching, it's just, you got to wonder, do these people know that it's the year 2026? I don't care what year it is. If you go to the State Fair, a large swath of the people, you can't tell them it's not 1982. They're convinced that it's Fast Times at Ridgemont High just came out. Like, they're just convinced they're stuck in the 80s. But the rural people. I'm going to talk about the rural people in a second because I say build the data center. If they oppose data centers being built in their backyard, then go find another backyard. We need the data centers. We also can't be hostile to technology, but I'm going to talk about that in a second because I've got a pretty well thought out set of arguments that I'm going to illustrate to you all about the data centers. But so if people work out, and some people are weird, they work out before work. I think that's a compulsion. It's weird. Some people deal with their problems by working out, and then they try to shame everybody else because they post the gym pictures. Shout out to people that, are proud of their progress, but it should be personal. That's my opinion. Because my thing is, if you got a really dope body, you know what makes your body even doper? If you just post pictures of just you, but not in the gym. Because then we get even more mad. Like, oh, my God, how do they get such a nice body? If I see the gym pics, then I know how you got the nice body. But how about going to the gym and never telling anybody? Did you ever think about that? You ever think about going to the gym and not photographing it, not spending a whole bunch of time in the mirror? Never understood that, but whatever. And gyms are gross, too. I'm not sure what's more disgusting, hippies or gyms. Gyms are filthy. Yuck. And then you got the women that wear stuff in the gym, and then they get mad at you if you look. Come on, your butt cheeks are hanging out, lady. And you're doing squats. Sherwin, can you come spot me? But don't look. Don't you, you pervert. Don't look. But if you're one of those people, and I know quite a few, that take their fitness very seriously, and they work out before they go to work. Like, oh, I hit the gym at 4:30. Yuck. But whatever. But when they work out before work, they bring their clothes, they shower, get dressed at the gym, they go to work, okay? They prioritize their working out because it's a part of their life. It's their routine. They wake up early, they go to the gym, they work out, they sweat very much a lot, they take their shower, they get dressed, they go on to work, right? And then there's the people that they bike, like it's a part of their fitness routine, but that's also how they commute. Now, they may not bike every single day, but if they work out or exercise 3 or 4 days a week, they'll ride the bike. You understand how hot it gets sometimes in the summertime in Milwaukee? And I always found this it's vile. I had a teacher in high school that was a biker, Mr. Backus. He was like a journalism teacher. I actually loved journalism very early on. In fact, I wrote for the school newspaper, and one of the columns that I would publish in the Brown Deer Bullet. Think about that. Damn newspaper was called the Bullet. You can't do that anymore. When we were in middle school, our mascot was literally a speeding bullet. Talk about something that didn't age well. Now, they eventually changed it to the Falcon, but our newspaper was in middle school, I think it was the Bullet. In high school, it was the Falcon. But here's my column that I would write is I would publish whose parents are out of town and who would be having parties out in the school newspaper. And they let me publish it, which was just dumb. But Mr. Backus rode his bike every single day. He had his little bike helmet. He had it in the classroom on his desk, and he smelled so bad. Here's the thing that I don't understand. I don't want to limit this to a race. There are some cultural differences in hygiene. I don't know if you guys are ready to have that conversation, but the conversation might get a little stinky. It's 95 degrees and you're commuting from Wauwatosa and you work downtown and you're riding a bike and you sweated the entire 5 or 6 miles riding your bike, and you just go and you sit in a damn conference room and you're sitting in these closed quarters with your coworkers. That is absolutely disgusting. And they have no foresight to think like, wow, this is gross. I'm going to stink. But if you go to the gym before work, like those people that prioritize their exercise and their fitness, they know to take a shower after the workout. But for somebody that rides their bike, there's other experiences. I don't want to say too much because it's pretty close to home where people ride their bikes to work and they sweat and you're disgusting. Like there's no concept of like, oh man, I just sweated. And they're wearing like a shirt and tie on a bike. They got the pants leg rolled up because I guess you don't want to get the chain oil on your legs. So that's why they roll up one pants leg. And it's disgusting to me. Like, come on. I'll take a break, come back. Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons is like on the list of greatest all-time music performers is 3,827. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is weird because this obsession with a local concern is just, it's weird. There used to be a thing called local control where, you know, different areas and different regions would have whatever their issues are, political issues or social issues. And if you're from somewhere else, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's their issue in that town that they live in. Very rarely do we take an issue that is a local gripe and then make it everybody's issue. I never understood that. There's so much to worry about in your own backyard. Adopting somebody else's issue with AI data centers. We need our kids to know how to read. But some of it is this, though, too. People are afraid of artificial intelligence because they don't know what it's going to mean. They look at the worst case scenario. But that's with any new technology. Anything that we are not familiar with, we are afraid of it first. We always think the worst case scenario. But here's the thing with AI. The worst case scenario is really, really bad, But we don't have any evidence of that. And we can always panic about what something could potentially be. We have nuclear weapons. Thank God they haven't been used since World War II. They're dangerous, obviously. But worst case scenario is, America's not going to make it. The world is not going to make it until 1972 because somebody's going to use a nuclear weapon. Nobody's going to use a damn nuclear weapon. It's a good threat. I think we use them as deterrents, but nobody's going to use a nuclear weapon because of what it'll do to the global economy. It'll kill too many consumers. Nobody wants to lose their entire economy just to blow up another country. And then that country is going to blow you up too. So it was something that was blown entirely out of proportion. But we didn't know. We were afraid. We were afraid of this new technology harnessing the power of the universe to blow up a bunch of Japanese people. AI is the same. We're afraid for what it may mean. So we think that if we oppose progress, if we oppose technology, then that will stop it. Only thing you can't stop is time. When automobiles, this is before they were mass produced and they were being made on a limited scale, there were literally people, the prevailing wisdom in the United States is nothing will ever replace horses. Like, this automobile thing is just a fad. No, seriously, that's a real thing. The media at the time, the newspapers at the time, they bashed automobiles. How ridiculous is this moving carriage? They can fit several people and move them from one place to another place. Because back then there was no roads, there was no highway infrastructure. They thought that cars were just this weird new mode of transportation that would only be for a very select few people, very wealthy people, and it would never catch on. Well, clearly they were wrong. And the opposition to data centers, I think, is something similar to that sentiment. We're afraid of new technologies and what it may mean. But what I can't understand is if you live in the city of Milwaukee and another community somewhere else that we know does not care at all about the city of Milwaukee nor its people. In fact, they demean and they stereotype the people here. Now, all of a sudden, we have concern for them and them building or having a data center built in their community. Did they say anything when they were gutting the African-American community, took away 8,000 homes and businesses? I can draw a direct line from the poverty that exists today to the entrepreneurship and the home ownership that was destroyed in the 1940s to build these damn freeways. And some of the freeways were never even completed, but they tore all the houses down. Like, we're going to build a freeway. Psych. Are you going to rebuild the houses? Nope. You think the rural communities were concerned about that? They wanted our houses demolished because they wanted to be able to get to the city with those highways that literally gutted our community. They relished in it. They wanted it. Yeah. Build a freeway so I can get to Milwaukee faster. I don't care who we hurt. But for some reason, and also think about these rural people. They have opposite political interests than us, but all of a sudden, and it's really interesting because the socialists have taken AI data centers as like one of their signature issues. Like, come on, you guys. Like, seriously. And they know, and they should know, that in some of those rural areas, and maybe it's a way for them to have conversations with rural people, for them to introduce themselves and their brand of political organizing to people that have opposite political interests. Rural areas in Wisconsin are Trump supporters. They are. But I also think that there's not that much difference between someone who is MAGA and someone who upholds the tenets of democratic socialism. And oftentimes they're related. They're in the exact same family. But the issue of data centers, I don't think that should be a concern of ours because look how much data we use. Our phones, our Gmail accounts, the photographs that we take, all that stuff's got to get stored somewhere because there's not a corresponding decrease in the use of data. You're not telling people, hey, maybe we should use data less. Maybe we should send less text messages. Maybe we should take less pictures of our food and less pictures of or less videos of concerts. This is the part I don't get. I don't get a lot of things. You go to a damn concert, don't even watch the concert, but you record the entire thing. You go to a concert and you see all these phones that are lit up because people are recording the show. When are you going to go back and watch a 3-hour concert on your phone? How about experiencing actually being there instead of taking up all this damn gigabytes on your phone? And that data's got to get stored somewhere. So I just find it disingenuous. I'm going to talk to Al first. Al, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. See, what y'all have to understand, the people who voted for Donald Trump their integrity is very pro-white trash, okay? So that's probably, anything that deals with racism always ended in rape. That's why everything went up. See, the mindset is very 211, still reserved. That's why a lot of their daughters and their kids grew up to be junkies and little whores, okay? But when you bring up stuff with black people and your kids, that's in-house. See, a lot of stuff, you got a different kind of parenting because, you should know how to conduct yourself when you get out in public. And I don't mean acting like a monkey who broke away from the cage. It was something that was instilled in you. And we got to stop saying, well, parents don't have no money. Because parents got money for eyelashes, hair, 3, 5, buying all them raggedy used cars. And then we say they don't invest in themselves. At the time, they had the Higher Center, Maximus. You had the Woman Force of America, where when they would help you get an associate degree, they would help you get a daycare. It was a lot of things, but they was not using it. Okay? So we should not say, well, they don't have no money. They have ways of getting money, because I remember I went through some of those programs, got money. And some of the people in the program said they were trying to get to their baby daddy with the 20-inch rims. Okay, so we got to stop doing that. Y'all kids is out of control because you're not raising them. That's the problem. You're not taking time to put them in activities and find out what they choose to be. Some of y'all use CPS because you don't want to beat your kids. And I stand by capital punishment because there ain't nothing that come out of my desk going to tell me what they ain't going to do in my house. And I'm walking around here scared when I can hit you in your mouth with a fist and a broomstick and y'all can say you're slavery. But when you get out in them streets and them police put their hands on you, who you calling? You calling your mama. You calling your daddy. And if your daddy ain't around, goddamn it, find him. That's who you calling. Because they're the only people who going to come bring the devil out. So, parents, do what you got to do. And if you do everything right and they get out there in the streets and F up, that's on them, and that's the consequences of their own goddamn action. So let's stop it and push forward. Have a good day and have a tropical buzzball and a shot of gin tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Tropical buzzball and a shot of gin, but stop there. Don't drink more than that. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm a firm believer in progress and in technology and seeing how far the human mind can go. I am not one who is ever going to be in favor of stifling progress. I also know that progress comes with some costs. I think that the automobile and all of the transportation options that we have has revolutionized the entire course of human history. But a drawback is pollution, especially when you use fossil fuels. But would you rather not have shipping and trucks and ships to bring goods and commodities from one part of the world to the next? Well, of course you would. We wouldn't enjoy the lifestyle that we enjoy if it wasn't for transportation and logistics and shipping and being able to move things over the road and across oceans. But there's going to be some consequences to that. And what we hope is that we can mitigate some of the consequences, or at least the benefit that we are getting from these technological improvements and these new processes can far outweigh whatever the drawbacks are. And I think that just being obstinate and just opposing a technology is nonsensical as much as it is a non-starter. That's number one. Number two, if there's a local issue in a rural community that has nothing but the greater benefit to the state of Wisconsin, our economy, or technological advancement, screw their local issue. You can't stop progress. Move somewhere else. What do you want me to do? We couldn't stop progress when it steamrolled its way through our neighborhood and our community, but now all of a sudden we feel sorry for these rural farmers that I could say are partially responsible for why we got Donald Trump 2.0. A major AI data center is fundamentally different from a typical warehouse or an industrial building. It represents billions of dollars of capital investment in the region, creates large construction ecosystems, generates permanent high-skilled jobs, expands the technology sector, and potentially attracts additional businesses that want to locate near advanced computing infrastructure. So because people don't know a lot about the details of these data centers, they can capitalize off of misinformation. First and foremost, what are we going to do to stop the spread of misinformation? Because lies and falsehoods spread faster and are more believable than the truth. Because if people are afraid and if they're nervous, they don't know what AI is and what it might ultimately turn into, you can scare people. You can scare those people in those small towns and those rural communities that this is, in fact, the boogeyman. You can scare them and they'll be opposed to it. But it's a technology that we all use. It's crazy because somebody might be going into some rural community to rail against this AI data center, but will use ChatGPT for their damn talking points. Microsoft said it expects to spend $4.7 billion locally between 2024 and 2028 on hyperscale construction in Wisconsin. Ain't nobody else spending that kind of money here. Who's spending $5 billion in Wisconsin? Other than Milwaukee and the weirdos in Madison, it's not really a lot here. We need to do something with this land. And I know what you guys are going to say. Oh, and about the electricity and the infrastructure. There's a fix for that. Oh, and they're going to use all the water. Some of these cooling systems are self-contained, so your water argument is thrown out the window. Let's talk to Emil. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Sherwin?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
Hey, so I hear you loud and clear, though, and I think but I do disagree with certain aspects of what you just said, particularly as it relates to why we should be concerned. I do agree that we shouldn't just be generally concerned in Milwaukee about what happens in certain places as it relates to the environmental factors, right? I do believe the people best situated to decide those are the people who are located there. That being said, and I think this is where the miseducation and just the misinformation kind of goes a long way because people start conflating things, right? There are things that I think we all should be, I don't know if concerned is the word, but at least be informed on, right? So you're half right. We are the demand, right, to a large extent. Every stream, every chat GPT question, like you said, right, every photo that we back up, right, needs a place, right, to go to. And data centers and people need to understand this, data centers have existed for as long as the internet and the cloud has existed, right? But that being said, there is no denying the scale, the rate of change in terms of capacity building across that's being driven by AI technology. So that's something that we can't run away from. But here's why I think places like Milwaukee can't sit out. the data center may be in places like Port Washington or Racine, but the bill's going to show up on the north side, right? Because of electricity, same utility, because of how electricity gets billed, right? People have to understand this. You may not see this on your bill, but there are three components to every electric bill that you get. You get the actual dispensation, the manufacturing of the electricity, right? The plants and all that stuff, the transmission and the delivery. We Energies controls the manufacturing of the electricity, the generation, and the delivery. The American Transmission Company, which isn't necessarily under the purview of Wisconsin and is federally regulated, right, controls the transmission. So transmissions will be, the poles and the things you see on the highway. All of that stuff in normal times, right, whenever there's an expansion, that gets split across customers all around the state, right? Now, people need to also understand that regulators and We Energies and even the public commissions that have been set up by the government, to regulate utilities aren't just sitting by. So half the time when I see some of these conversations happening, it's like y'all responding to like old information, because if you were paying attention, you would realize that the Utilities Commission set up has already, right, especially as it relates to certain deals, made certain changes to how some of this new generation cost is going to be spread. If you're paying attention, you understand that the FERC has told, transmission companies in the region, hey, why shouldn't we put this cost on big data companies? You would also understand that We Energies is also having conversations with these companies, right? And again, I'm not trying to say that these things are all going to lead to a situation where we don't get to bear the cost, but I think understanding that gets us to understand what are we fighting for and how are we fighting for it, right?
Yeah, we got to leave it there, buddy, because I got to take a break.
All right.
Your point is well taken.
All right, problem. Take it easy.
All right, you too. If we are going to greatly benefit from this technology, maybe not so much now, but into the future, then the cost should be spread out. That's number one. Number two, regulation can require these AI data companies and manufacturers of these gigantic warehouses to have a disproportionate amount of the cost on the transmission and the increased energy use fall on them. We're going to pick this back up for hour 3. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee Public School families, the first day of school is Tuesday, September 1st, and there's still time to enroll. MPS offers programs to fit every learner, including bilingual, Montessori, special education, and more. All MPS students receive free breakfast and lunch. Enroll today at milwaukeepublicschools.org/enrollment. Or visit MPS Student Services at 5225 West Vliet Street, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you for choosing MPS.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling. The limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 1017 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Talking about data centers. I say build them. Yeah, if it costs a little bit more, but look at the technology that we're getting. And if the cost is diffused amongst millions of people, fair enough. Like, how much is our energy bill going to actually go up, considering the utility that we get out of the technology? It's not going to double it. But also, I'm not in favor of, because this is a democracy. I know some of y'all hate that word, and Donald Trump has made democracy falling out of favor, and I can tell. The tail ain't going to wag the dog here. I'm going to need y'all to understand that phrase, that analogy, that euphemism. The smallest group is not going to control the larger part of the whole. It's not. MAGA shouldn't control the Republican Party. DSA shouldn't control the damn Democrats. And what somebody who lives in a rural community of 97 people, their sentiments should not impact the technological advancement of the other 5.9 million people in Wisconsin. These are my sentiments. You do not have to agree. And because you don't agree doesn't mean you got to get angry and have any animosity. I just have a different set of ideals than you. We'll be fine. But that's what we have fallen into. The smallest, tiniest voices need to be elevated to such a way that they can diminish the impact to the larger part of our cities, our democracy, our state, our country, and our world. No, thank you. That is an issue. These small, extreme groups, whether it be political or people that are anti-technology or anti-development, of course, people in small towns are going to be anti-technology. They're not very smart. They're not. Because if they were smart, they'd have left a long time ago. I can say that because I don't have a lot of rural listeners in my program. Well, if I did, I got less now. I don't feel sorry for you. I know what your political sentiments are. I know how you feel about this city. I know that you vote for legislators in outstate Wisconsin for no other reason than to make sure Milwaukee gets punished. Milwaukee doesn't thrive. So do you think I feel sorry for you if they want to build a data center right across your face? Not my problem. I love data. I use ChatGPT a ton. Sometimes I just see something, I take a picture of it. Hey, ChatGPT, what is this? Hi, Sherwin. This is a blah, 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 blah. Thank you. I pay for it, too. I used to do the free ChatGPT, and now I'm paying. I'm in it. Worth every penny. So good. Oh, Xavier, stop it. Dude, you got Starlink. Everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. I drive a Tesla. I want Starlink too. I was looking at some of the Starlink plans. I was like, 100 megabytes for $50. Well, Elon. Now Elon says some things that aren't very nice. He does say some racially insensitive things. But you know what I heard today? I heard black people talking about what needs to happen to other black people to go just as far as what Elon Musk has said about Africans. So you got to weigh the good with the bad. You know what I mean? Like, black people, we sometimes don't like blacks either. Sherwin, the solution is lock everybody up. Lock up the entire family. Take away their food stamp. Take away their housing. I literally heard somebody call today and say, oh, if your children act up, make the parents homeless. If a white person said that, it would be racist, right? But if a black person says it, it's being tough on crime. And I'm not judging either way. It's just, come on now, guys. Racine's own consolidated plan estimated Microsoft's investment could produce approximately 4,300 jobs, 2,300 construction, and 2,000 permanent positions. and noted Microsoft's partner with Gateway Technical College to train workers now and into the future. A person living in Milwaukee, Waukesha, or Washington County can potentially work in construction of the data center, provide engineering, electrical, plumbing, or HVAC services, work for a contractor supplying the project, obtain technology-related employment, operate a business supplying the facility, benefit from workforce training programs, sell goods and services to those construction workers and those people that work in the facility, benefit from the increased regional economic activity. It seems that we would benefit greatly, way more than the people in that community. So I say build it. Wisconsin is competing for the AI economy. The data center itself is not the entire economic prize. The larger question is, does southeastern Wisconsin want to become one of the places where the next generation of computing infrastructure is built or not? Wisconsin's Economic Development Agency explicitly says its data center initiative program is designed to attract the capital investment, the money, the resources, highly educated workforces, and high-wage jobs associated with these new facilities. Those are all wins to me. Yeah, my We Energies bill might go up a little bit. You know how I can offset it? Turn the temperature down a little bit in the wintertime, put on a blanket and a hoodie. Oh, no, the data center is going to make my We Energies come. It don't got to be 72 degrees in your house in the wintertime. 72, you live if it says 70, you can save money. Turn the thermostat down a little bit. You don't need to have the AC cranked up to whatever it's cranked up to. Sweat a little bit. Get you a little spray bottle if you get hot when you sleep in the middle of the night. Turn the air conditioning down a little bit if you're worried about the We Energies bills. The way some of y'all, the temperature you have in some of your homes, you're paying a lot of money for that. My house is insulated poorly. I got quoted on windows like 13 grand. I was like, nah, I'm cool. Because I got weird custom window sizes and they got to make them all custom. Oh, but you'll save money in the long run. How much of a long run are we talking? Oh, these windows will pay for themselves in 30 years. It's either when I turn the air conditioning on, it's either frostbite in my house and like, oh, it's too cold. Let me turn the AC off. Then it's Jamaican hot. It gets so hot that I actually start speaking in patois. Wagwan, no. Turn the damn heat down. Give me some oxtails and some cabbage and some peas and rice. Wagwan, Jamaica. And then I turn the AC on, and then what does a cold person sound like? Can I say Eskimo? Eskimo, I can say. I thought that they didn't like to be called that. They build the igloos.
Who said you can't call them that?
I don't know. It's political correctness. So if you can't call people Eskimos anymore, you can't call little people midgets.
Political correctness is dead.
You think so?
Yes.
I've noticed that, but there's some words that I still can't bring myself to say. You know?
Like what?
Oh, I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it because people get very angry over this word. But when I say it, though, I'm just going to let you guess. I don't mean the word to degrade certain people of lower mental acuity. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean it that way.
Talking about the R word? I say that all the time.
I mean, who says it all the time?
I do.
No.
Not on the air.
Yeah, no. They don't. You're not supposed to say it. But sometimes it's the only word that fits. And I don't mean it to, like, degrade people. You know what I mean? Like, that's, no, not them. But there's some people that they're smart. It's worse if you're smart and act dumb. If you know better and just don't do better, that's just, whew. I don't like that. People don't use their common sense. Common sense isn't common. Okay. And Microsoft has already completed its first Mount Pleasant facility, which it calls the Fairwater AI Data Center. Microsoft says the facility is intended to power the next generation of artificial intelligence innovation and create long-term economic opportunities locally. Like, why are we mad at that? If Wisconsin becomes a major AI infrastructure hub, there can be second-order benefits. AI data center, construction, utilities, engineering, technology workforce, suppliers, startups, research, and additional investment will follow. Could Milwaukee County residents be adversely affected by a data center being built in Racine? Yes. But the mechanism is important. A Milwaukee resident is not going to experience a Racine County data center simply because there's a large building in Racine. The potential regional impacts are primarily electricity infrastructure. This is probably the single most important regional issue. Large AI facilities consume enormous amounts of electricity around the clock. Wisconsin's regulators recognize this explicitly. The Public Service Commission said data centers are large enough that their demand can affect generation and transmission infrastructure, and its April 2026 decision specifically addresses the risk that costs associated with serving data centers could be shifted to existing customers. But if we're using the technology, shouldn't some of the costs be shifted to us? But then also you can require with regulation and very careful policy for these data center companies like Microsoft to foot the bill for the increased infrastructure that we need. We need to upgrade our infrastructure anyway. Joe Biden told you that with the infrastructure bill. Our electricity grid is old, it's antiquated, it can be hacked. We got to upgrade it, and why not upgrade it for the sake of this new technology? So you're not going to get me to be against the data center. I'm going to give you, now there's some cons, obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, bringing billions of dollars to Wisconsin and having Wisconsin be known for something, being known as a tech hub where we can get engineers and high-income people and highly educated people to come here and to move to Wisconsin and to buy houses and to pay more property taxes and to spend their big, fat AI data center paychecks and then pay more income taxes and pay more sale taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a net positive. I'm sorry if you live in a rural community. We got to do something with your land. You ain't farming on it. Got all this land just sitting there. All you doing is walking around barefoot in the tulips. No, we need that land for technology because I like Chat GPT. And I need a place to store all my photos. I'd rather store my photos right there in your backyard than a data center. I need to store the photos. You got to have a cloud. No, Sherwin, but the data centers are going to hurt the rural people. But rural people have been trying to hurt us with their vote for the last 3 generations, huh? Well, you have to feel sorry for small town rural folk. No, the hell I don't. I mean, I think the only reason why I feel sorry for them because I come to find out they don't have enough dentists. There's not more dentists need to be in rural areas because their teeth are jacked. You got to have teeth. I like my teeth. I brush my teeth at least 2 times a day. People that say they brush their teeth 3 times a day, that's weird. That's an obsession. Who brings a toothbrush to lunch? You have a compulsion. You don't want to brush them too much. You got 2 times a day is good. Brush them in the morning time. Got to get that plaque. Got to get that tartar. Okay, then you go through your day. Eat your little lunch. Go through your day. Eat your little dinner. Have your little snacks. You guys like Little Debbie's. Some of y'all like cream pies. You like cream pies. Xavier, you like cream pies?
Yeah, I love cream pies.
Okay. You ever make one? They're probably not very difficult to make when you think about it. It's just oatmeal cookie with some cream in the middle.
Yeah, I've made a lot of cream pies.
Okay. So whatever, you have your little cream pies. And then it's nighttime. It's nighttime and you got to go to sleep. You got to have a routine. I like to take my showers at night. I like to wash off the day's dirt. I take my shower. I brush my teeth, and then I start my wind down. Watch me a little television, maybe watch me something educational so I have smart dreams. And then I go to sleep, and I brush my teeth 2 times. I haven't had a cavity since I was 31, and when I got that cavity at 31, I was very angry. It was a small cavity. It was one of those cavities like, oh, you got a small cavity. It can wait until your next dentist appointment. No. You better get this joker now. Like, oh, no, it's tiny. Don't tell me that. I don't like that. Oh, we don't have to worry about it yet. Well, I'm going to worry for the next 6 months, dentist. Feel this joker. And it's not even that bad. They just drilled it out. Once you get over the sound of the drill, it's not that bad. You smell a little smoke. That's all right. It's just your tooth.
I enjoy the dentist.
I do too. I fall asleep in a dentist chair.
It's easy to do.
I used to be afraid. I don't even know where my fear of the dentist even came from. But now, because I get a text message like, "Oh, Sherwin, it's time for your check." I'm like, "Ooh."
I'll damn near fall asleep in the barber chair.
Well, I don't got to worry about that. So
Oh, you don't have them shape up your beard?
I do. No. Let nobody. No.
Professionally shave your head?
It doesn't. You don't need a professional for that.
Oh, it's a whole treatment. They get all the dead skin off.
I got a loofah. I don't need nobody rubbing on my head like that. But I also don't want a professional massage either.
Oh, you don't like massages?
I don't want no stranger rubbing on me. I don't know you. That's gross to me. I'm serious.
Really?
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it.
So you never got a massage before?
Never, ever. I've had somebody offer to pay. Like, they were too adamant about it. That's why it sounded even more weird. Oh, my God, Sherwin, you've never had a massage? Here, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. Get naked, and a person walks in, and they're gonna oil you down and rub on you. I couldn't, get out of my head enough to actually enjoy a stranger rubbing on me. And it's women, too. They love to get massages.
Yeah.
But if a strange man in any other context even brushes up against them, they're quick to call them some kind of a sexual assaulter. But will let a straight weirdo stranger oil them up?
Well, I've never gotten a massage by a male, but, next time you're in Vegas, I have a few spots for you to check out.
Hell no. I'm not going to. We call those tug shops. I ain't going to get tugged. You ain't got to go to Vegas for a tug. There's tugs all over the place.
Oh, I didn't know that.
See, somebody's calling right. Look who's calling. I know he knows about tugs. I'm going to take a commercial break, come back, and grab a telephone call. I am not opposed to data centers. And because a small town might see some adverse impacts, sometimes to move the needle forward and to provide technology and to provide high-end jobs and provide all of the other benefits that can come. Sometimes, you got to take the good with the bad. But I'm not going to be over here concerned about what's happening in small towns, because small towns ain't got no kind of concern for us. I say build it, because I need somewhere to store my food photos. Because when I go out to eat, I got to take a picture of my damn food, and that photo got to be stored somewhere. You got to put it in the cloud. And if the cloud happens to be in your backyard, Mr. and Mrs. Johansson, what do you want me to do? Maybe you should have moved.
Oh, you're one of those people that take photos of their food?
Or if it's delicious and the presentation is nice, absolutely. Because I like to recommend restaurants, but I'm not one of those weird food reviewers, because all that stuff is fake. Because there's some food reviewers, I'm not going to name any names, they love everything that they eat. Oh, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. First of all, nothing is a 10 out of 10. There's not that many restaurants that are 10 out of 10, because I've been to some of those restaurants that these fake food reviewers give a 10 out of 10. You know what they do? They extort restaurant owners. How do I know? Because my friend that owns a very popular restaurant gets extorted by food reviewers all of the time. Here's what they say. We're going to come to your restaurant. We're going to order an unlimited amount of food. You, the restaurant owner, you're going to pay for it. You give us $900 on top of all the free food and all the free drinks, and we'll give you a positive review. Or we'll come to your restaurant. We'll order a limited amount of food, probably won't tip your servers, and we'll give you a bad review, and it will impact your business. The choice is yours. He has to set money aside to be extorted from these damn food reviewers. So when you see these, it's a whole, a hustle. It's a whole hustle. You extort. And some of these restaurants, I know the, come on now, 60th and North Avenue, the Asian joint. It's an Asian, come on now, the Asian buffet, the Vietnam restaurant. They told the food reviewer to screw off. But they know what they got, though, over at the Asian joint. What is the name of that joint? Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's right there on the northeast corner of 60th and North Avenue, right there, a little Asian restaurant. They got a little buffet. And then during COVID, they transferred into a little Asian grocery store. They knew how to pivot. I'm going to take a break, come back, grab a telephone call on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
National Sandwich Month is here, and Cousins Subs is celebrating all month long with exclusive rewards for Cousins Club members. Join Cousins Club today and unlock special offers, bonus points, and extra ways to earn rewards every time you order throughout August. It's our way of helping you get even more from your favorite subs. From classics to grill-to-order favorites and deli fresh subs, there's always something delicious to discover at Cousins Subs. Celebrate National Sandwich Month with Cousins Club and start earning rewards today. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Got this in pocket.
Looking for a school where scholars thrive, teachers believe, and excellence is the expectation? Milwaukee College Prep is enrolling scholars in grades K through 8 for the upcoming school year. With 4 high-performing campuses, award-winning educators, and a proven track record of academic success, MCP is helping more than 2,000 Milwaukee scholars build bright futures every day. Don't wait. Seats are indeed available and limited. Apply today at MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com or call 414-264-6000, 414-264-6000. Milwaukee College Prep, excellence by design, futures without limits. All right, somebody said, y'all gonna run out of water. This is also probably coming from somebody who's an anti-vaxxer. How you gonna run out of water? You can't. Do you know that the amount of water that has always been on Earth is the same amount of water that's always been on Earth? You know water doesn't disappear. Do you know that? When somebody told me that, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. The water in the oceans evaporates, turns into clouds. Clouds get saturated. Water comes right back down to form of rain. Same thing, but if it's in the wintertime in a colder climate, the same precipitation comes down as snow. Guess what? You drink water. As a human being, comes out in the form of urine. Same water coming right back out. Water doesn't, same amount of water. Water ain't going nowhere. Water don't disappear. You know what else blows my mind? If you guys are into things that'll really screw your brain up, I would say look it up, but the explanation is going to defy human comprehension. Watch a YouTube video on what is called 52 factorial. You're going to be blown away. It's written 52 with an exclamation point. It's called 52 factorial. And it's very simple. It tries to conceptualize or give you an idea of how many different configurations a playing card deck can be in when you shuffle it. Right? You have the 4 suits, right? You got your jacks, your queens, your kings. What am I missing? Jack, king, queen, I guess ace. Yeah, ace is a face card. And then you got all the numeric values of the clubs and the diamonds and the hearts and the spades, and you shuffle it up. So basically, whenever you shuffle a deck of cards, that particular combination, if you lay all the cards out, okay, and you look at the order in which they happen to be in just randomly, and you shuffle it again, that is the only time in the course of human history that those cards have ever been in that order. If you shuffle them again, it has never been duplicated. So 52 factorial, since we're talking about stuff that blows your mind a little bit, it's crazy. I just was like, talk about a rabbit hole. I don't go down rabbit holes very often because I fear I may never come back. But the 52 factorial rabbit hole is insane. So it basically says, so to try and conceptualize a number, it's like 10 to the 64th power times. It's insane. It doesn't even make any sense if you look at how they try to write it down with the number of zeros. How does it work? Every 1 billion years, okay, you take a single step. Okay, so 1 billion years passes. You take 1 step. By the time you have made it all the way around the Earth's equator, that's 25,000 miles. Now remember, you're taking a single step every billion years. You still aren't even a tenth of the way of all the different combinations a card deck can be shuffled in. So then they say, after you've taken 1 step every billion years, by the time you get all the way around the Earth, here's what you do. You take a spoon and you take 1 spoonful of water out of all of the oceans, okay? It's every billion years now. So every step is 1 billion years. Once you get around the Earth once, now you start to empty the oceans. By the time all of the oceans are empty, you're still not even halfway there. And then you got to put the water back in the ocean. And then the next one is you take every billion years, you take another step. Put a stack of paper on the ground. Every 1 billion years, put another stack of loose leaf paper on the ground. By the time that paper stack reaches the moon, you're barely halfway there of the different combinations a shuffled deck can be in. And I just went down this rabbit hole. It was just insane. I was like, 1 billion years between steps? I was like, wait a minute, what about 1 billion years around the Earth? No. 1 step. So 1 billion years, you're moving every 3 feet. By the time you get 25,000 miles, you ain't even scratched the surface. That is just also explains why my luck at blackjack. Yeesh. And that's 6 decks. It's all chance, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got in the YouTube chat. Anything worth reading? Aaron says a foot massage is fire too. Brothers, it's okay to get treated. So I've gotten a pedicure before because I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden it's not cool to wear flip-flops anymore. It's not cool to, and not that I really care about the fashion understandings of a younger generation because, screw them. But apparently you can't wear ankle socks anymore. Those aren't cool. And then you're not supposed to wear flip-flops, but they call them thong sandals. I think that sounds very derogatory. But I used to wear flip-flops all the time because when it's really hot, I don't want socks. It's hot. I don't like it. I used to wear flip-flops here, and holy smokes, when Carrie was here, she used to make fun of me so bad. I don't have bad-looking feet for a man. Some of y'all got hammered toes and bunions. Some of y'all toes, are jacked up. But I've gotten pedicures, but I've gotten 2. It was actually kind of nice. Would I do it regularly? No, because I don't necessarily consider that a part of my self-care routine. But I would get a pedicure just the start of sandal season because my feet are going to be out because when it's really, really hot. Like first thing I do when I get home is I take off my shoes and socks. I just don't like stuff on my feet like that. So I've gotten a pedicure before. I wouldn't a manicure. That's gay.
Jeez,
it is. I'm not gonna sit there. Hi, Ling Ling. Can you do my nails for me? No. I cut my fingernails. I keep them short because long fingernails on men, vile, disgusting. Or women will tell you, if you got long nails as a man, you have dirt under your fingernails, you're not getting laid, sir. Not even a little bit. It's horrible. So bad. I cut my fingernails, keep my fingernails. I mean, they're even, but I'm not getting them all done by Ling Ling. Sit there in Ling Ling's chair and have her talk mess about me in Vietnamese. No, thank you. Not doing that. But the pedicure I've gotten, but there's a whole bunch of people in the YouTube chat talking, oh, Sherwin, you need to get a massage.
So you're wearing flops with a thong in them?
I just wear them around the house now.
Okay, good.
I wore them on vacation when I was in Memphis because I don't care what my family thinks literally about anything that I do. They can have all the opinions they want, but, I don't care. But I don't wear – I used to wear them just like to work and just out and about because, in radio, nobody can see your feet. So I wouldn't care. But I guess you can't wear flip-flops anymore. But slides are stupid. Slides are slippers. So we traded flip-flops for slides, and then you guys wear socks with slides. Wearing socks with sandals is a sin. Also, why are we listening to a generation that wears socks with sandals? It's ridiculous. Oh, we got to talk to Derek. I forgot all about Derek. Sorry, Derek. I forgot all about you. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Sherwin. I want to tell you something. You're talking about data centers, and they had a person who was from they had a show here, and they were talking about data centers. I'll speed it up so it makes sense. Anyway, this guy was from Texas, and he was just talking about, something, what you need to do is every state needs to do what they've done in Texas, meaning that he says Texas has the largest number of data centers, and you need to deregulate everything. And besides the deregulation, he says, no, deregulation is wonderful. It works in Texas. And he was comparing it like when you're choosing your phone service, like if it's too high, and as far as electrical things, if it's too high, what do? You switch services, right? And you go to some other services. So he says,
no, we can't do that in Wisconsin. We have a monopoly in our utility.
I understand that.
We can't choose.
That's what he was saying, that he said every state needs to do like they do in Texas, deregulate everything. And then he said, somebody asked him about the electrical costs and everything. And that's when he was talking about, well, if you had a deregulated electrical grid or something like that, I mean, you could do like they do where if it's too high, I mean, if you don't like the cost at T-Mobile or Verizon, what do? You switch to a different service. And he's just talking about total freedom. And he says that's the problem with a lot of states. They just need to deregulate, and deregulate. As far as the water,
Derek, I would ask you
Derek,
I would ask you to look up what happens when you deregulate your electricity, the power outages.
Yeah, that's what somebody.
It's a huge drawback.
That's what people said.
It's not worth it. Yeah. Let's land the plane, Derek.
I understand
Let's land the plane.
I understand it. This is a person from Texas, and he was just saying, and that's what he was talking about data centers. He said if it's too high, you just switch to another service. That's what they do in Texas.
Yeah, but we can't do that.
And
most places are not going to deregulate.
I understand
so, Derek,
that.
What are we talking about here? Okay, let's land.
We were talking about data centers.
I see the runway, Derek. Let's wheels down, landing gears out. Let's land it.
Okay. Well, anyway, he was just saying if more states would do like he was just saying that as far as water, as far as using water, he said you could have a closed loop system where it just recycle the water through these data centers because they according to him they do get very hot, but you just keep on recycling the water through that, and that way you wouldn't be using a lot of water. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we discussed that. Most of them are closed loop because they don't have access to an unlimited amount of water. You're correct. All right, Derek. Thank you.
And I was just bringing that up because that's what the guy from Texas was saying, and he says. And like you said, he says the hillbillies, I guess, they just need to move on to the 21st century.
All right.
And get rid of they don't believe any kind of regulations in Texas at all.
That's right. And that's actually not a good thing. It's a net negative when you don't have regulation because then when the power goes out, it's hard to hold somebody responsible. But we appreciate your call, Derek.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Sherwin. I was just passing along.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Okay. All right then. Okay, Derek. All right then. Now. Okay. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Join us for Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. It's free and fun for the entire family. It's going to feature great music, community resources, family activities, and back-to-school support to help students get ready for another successful school year. Are you interested in volunteering? Visit the Truth Family Fest website at truthfamilyfest.com. That is truthfamilyfest.com. to complete the volunteer form, or you can email Sierra Brown at sierra.brown@milwaukeeblackmedia.com. That is CIERRA.brown@milwaukeeblackmedia.com. Bring the whole family and experience one of Milwaukee's favorite community celebrations, Truth Family Fest, Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, DCWS, AB Core, Ascension, and Tap In MKE. Imagine if a bunch of white kids came to Truth Family Fest and started fighting and we had to close it down early at 1 o'clock instead of 2. We'd be very mad at them. Would we be saying, these white kids need a place to go? They need their own thing to do. No, we want to kill them. So when our kids go out to State Fair and going into somebody else's community, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Black people live in West Dallas. West Dallas has come a long way. It used to be just gross, old podunk, working class whites. Kind of whites that even after they've taken a shower, they still have dirt on their faces. That's what West Dallas used to be.
We called it Dirty Dallas in Brookfield.
Oh, you said not too long ago, Xavier, because we were talking about Walmart. You said, "Oh, there's Walmarts in Brookfield." No, there's not.
Well, yeah, there is.
Where?
Right off the freeway when you. Yeah, right off the freeway.
Oh, yeah, off the freeway.
Yeah,
Wait, look it up.
Oh no. So, or is that technically New Berlin?
It's New Berlin.
Okay.
152nd and I think National.
I still count that as Brookfield.
It's a whole nother city.
Yeah, but growing up
you
there,
count Racine as Milwaukee?
Well, no, it's right next to each other. But that little gray area, that's Brookfield technically. To the people out there in Brookfield, they know that's Brookfield.
It's New Berlin. There's a difference between the Brookfield white or even the Brookfield black. Oh, they're snooty. They're high acidity. I went to the Olive Garden in Menominee Falls on Sunday. I noticed something. Oh, I have a story I put together last week. I never got to it because we're probably talking about the election a lot. And it's black people, we are underrepresented in the service industry, in Milwaukee in particular. If we are working in the service industry, it is rarely a host, a hostess, or a server. We tend to be in the kitchen or bussing. So we're not as often. In Milwaukee in particular, we are not directly facing the diner. We're not serving them. We're not seating them as often. I'm not going to say that there aren't African Americans that are not in the service industry. It's just at a much lower number, right? So we go to the Olive Garden. Myself, my mother, and my brother. And we're sitting in a section, and we get a black server. It's a lot of black people at that Olive Garden in Menominee Falls. We love us some Olive Garden. It was all sorts of blacks, a diversity of blacks. Studs, older blacks that looked like they just came from church. Just all sorts, lots of blacks. In fact, I think the African Americans may have outnumbered the white folks, at least when we went. There's many blacks there, right? So we're sitting in a section. Of course, we get a black server, which makes a lot of sense. So we're in a very small kind of like, I don't want to say it's a cordoned off area, but we're just off of the bar. There's maybe like 4 tables over there. And our server comes over. Really nice guy, African-American guy, probably in his late 20s. Really nice. Great service. Very attentive. Decent. Attentive, but not too attentive. Here's what I don't like. Don't bring the food. And before I had a chance to even take a bite, how's everything tasting so far? How were the first few bites? Do you see that my fork is still clean? I haven't. And you lie anyway. Ooh, everything is good. Ooh, it's delicious, even though you haven't taken a bite yet. So a Caucasian family, there's already another black family in this section. And, of course, the black server is waiting on them. But they end up leaving. Then a white family comes in. And they look very Washington County, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. They just look like they're from a less cosmopolitan area. And they're dressed you got to dress at least. You don't got to get dressed up to go to Olive Garden, but come on, dude. A sleeveless flannel and a bent up, dirty trucker hat. Come on, buddy. Let's do better. It's Sunday, too. Come on. Do a little better, but whatever. You know that they had a white server? We're in a small section. You would think, and maybe they don't do sections that way, or I don't know how they trade tables, but I found it interesting. But it also matches something that I have been told. I got a lot of friends that are in the restaurant business, and it's a horrible business. It really is. Profit margins are horrible. You got to deal with unruly customers and disrespectful customers Everybody wants something for free. People will finish their food, say that they don't like it, want another meal to go. It's really, really bad. And then if you have an issue with your supplier of your food or whatever it is that you're serving, you got to find another supplier. Like you might have a real popular fish fry, but your fish supplier all of a sudden they're out of business. It's not fun. It is not fun. But I get a lot of information from the details of the restaurant business from behind the scenes. It tells me I would never want to own a restaurant, ever. White servers will argue over who has to take the black table. So a lot of restaurants will hire black servers to deal with and to wait on the black patrons. Now, I cannot say for sure, and I certainly wasn't going to ask our server if this was the case, but we're in a very small section. There's 4 tables in this section. And we have an African-American server, but then a white family comes in, and literally out of nowhere, a young Caucasian woman is waiting on that white table. Like, I'm literally looking at segregation. Like the white family is right across, kind of diagonal from us, and they have a white server, and then we have an African-American server in the same little tiny 4-seat section. I wonder if that's true, because I do know for an absolute fact that when white servers see African-American diners, and they judge us, they really do. And maybe that's not fair, because I know some black people try to overcompensate. Like, oh, when I go to a restaurant, I tip extra because I know a lot of black people don't tip. Some of it is we've had limited exposure to the service industry, and we may not understand tipping culture. I remember going to lunch with a friend many, many years ago, and we went to a restaurant where several of my friends worked as servers, because I always feel comfortable going to restaurants when I know people, because then I know the service is going to be good. If I got a complaint, they won't roll their eyes at me. It'll be taken very seriously. It's just a comfort thing for me. And so my friend was like, oh, no, Sherwin, lunch is on me. I'm like, bet, thank you. And the bill was like, I'm not even lying, y'all, like $30 and let's say 90 cents. Dude left $31 and had the nerve to say, and the server, someone I went to high school with, and had the nerve to say, you keep the change. I had to then, as we're walking out, I went in my pocket and I gave her a $20 bill. I'm like, I'm so sorry for that. And he was like, oh, no, you keep that 10 cents. And this is a guy that I don't even, when I say he's the CEO of a nonprofit in the city of Milwaukee, if I say his name, y'all will know who the hell this dude is. And I was like, I looked at him sideways. And he's like, oh, service was good, Sherwin. I'm glad you recommended this restaurant where a bunch of your friends were. I was like, you left them 10 a dime.
That's crazy.
That's
I overtip. Just because of the stigmatism, the whole stereotype. I just like to give them something not to talk about.
I'm not going to overtip just for the sake of trying to overcompensate. If I overtip, it's because I like this restaurant, I like the people, and I come to that restaurant often. And when I walk in, even if they have no tables, I get a table because if they know I tip, like I need to get something for my tip. But I don't go to places where the service is even going to be questionable. I would prefer to go places where I know the person or I'm familiar with somebody there. So if it's more to prevent if I have a bad service experience that I can complain and have it actually register and mean something. Because sometimes you complain, they get mad at you. I want because you got to mess my stuff up pretty damn bad for me to complain, because I hate doing it. I'm just one of those kind of people. That's why I need one of those kind of women. Like if my food comes out just a little bit off, and I'm like, oh, I didn't really order this, or the food is really good. I have one of those. Boo, excuse me. No. Come here. No, you get manager. Everybody come up, because I don't like to be the one to, you know what I mean, to raise all that ruckus. I'll let a woman do that. They do it better than I do anyway. But I want it to be treated like, oh, we're so sorry, Mr. Hughes. We're going to take this off of the bill. Next time you come in, it's on us, and a dessert is on the house. There you go. I'm coming back. I guarantee it. And I'm probably going to you're going to make your money back off of me if you treat my bad experience seriously and you sort me out. Okay, we're going to take it off the bill. You know what? We got the meal. I'm coming back, and I'm going to spend more money the next time. All right, I'm going to take a break. Come back. Last break of the show. I was a little bit out of pocket yesterday, but professionally, not proverbially. Back in pocket today. I really want to talk about that stuff that was going on at State Fair. And what are we going to do about it? The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Interested in volunteering? Visit truthfamilyfest.com or by emailing Sierra, CIERRA.brown@milwaukeeblackmedia.com. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, Department of Community Wellness and Safety, AB Core, Tap In MKE, and Ascension.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Some people don't tip just because it makes the dining experience that much more expensive, which I get. I liken tipping in a weird kind of analogy. It's like an association fee when you live in a condo. It just makes condo living that much more expensive and depends on the particular condo. Whatever you're paying in an association fee may not be worth it. So yeah, they do basic maintenance and they plow the parking lot and common insurance or something like that. But it's some of these condo fees I think are engineered to be extra high to price certain people out of condos. Because you can't fake it in a condo, G. And some of these condos in Milwaukee, we have a lot of inventory. Some of those condos on the river, they're like 60% vacant. And the biggest owners of a lot of those condos that we have in Milwaukee, because we way oversaturated this market. Back in the 1990s when they were putting together the urban plan for the next 30 years, like, oh, Milwaukee's going to flourish, downtown is going to explode, which it did, absolutely. And a whole bunch of people are going to want to live downtown. Let's overbuild condos. Most of them are vacant, and then the people that are buying them are from Chicago because it's so much cheaper in Milwaukee to buy a condo on the river with a view in the 3rd Ward with a boat slip than it is to own the same real estate in Chicago. It's so much cheaper. These people will get the condo in Milwaukee, pay the association fees, get the boat slip, and get a boat, and it's still cheaper than owning similar real estate on the Chicago River in downtown Chicago. I think Chicago is way overrated. It really is. We ain't got to go to Chicago. We got Chicago right here at home in Milwaukee. You ain't got to go to Chicago. We're a much better Chicago. Chicago is just too big for its own good. And Chicago, you will get murdered. You'll get murdered. You'll get murdered in Chicago. They'll resuscitate you, bring you back to life, and they'll murder you again. You get murdered 2 times. What'd you do this weekend? Went to Chicago and got killed twice? Oh, for real? You going back? Yeah, I'm going back for the pizza. Deep dish pizza, stupid.
Gives me heartburns every time.
It's awful. And it takes an hour. Okay, what are you going to have? Oh, the deep dish meat lovers combo. Okay, you're going to have a meat lovers cheese, extra cheese. All right, see you tomorrow.
I do like Portillo's, though.
I'm trying to think if I ever. Nope. But Portillo's, I think it's Portillo's.
Portillo's, yeah.
I think it's out. It's out there.
It's in Brookfield.
Yeah, I ain't going out there. I don't go to Brookfield for nothing. Everything I need is in Milwaukee. And if I got to step out of Milwaukee ever so briefly for certain, I don't know, goods or services, I dip my toe in a Wauwatosa, but then I come right back to Milwaukee because Wauwatosa is so close. And there's parts of Wauwatosa that basically are Milwaukee anyway, just like Glendale. Some parts of Glendale are more run down than Milwaukee is. But I don't travel out. That I don't need to. There's nothing out there. The only time I may travel to the suburbs is my bank. There's no ATMs anywhere. I got to go far away and I don't like paying an ATM fee. Don't charge me money to get my money. That's my money. I ain't charging you unless I need to get cash like quickly, which is rare. I put everything on my credit card and just pay my credit card off because then I get cash back. It's just such a – and also if you get scammed, if you've ever had like use your debit card and there's one of those card readers, oh, you're screwed, bro. Like that's awful. And it's real hard to get your checking account money back. In fact, you probably won't get it back, but if you use a credit card and you get scammed, you can cancel the transaction. You have a lot of recourse because when you use a credit card, that's not your money. That's somebody else's money. As long as you pay the credit card back or pay it off before your end statement date. Well, there's a bill due date and there's a statement date. The statement date, you want to pay your credit card before that because that's what they report to the credit bureau. That's how you can improve your credit score. A dramatic improvement of your credit score. Stop using your debit card because that's linked directly to your checking account. Get you one of them little credit cards if you can. And now you can have a relatively low credit score. Maybe get one of those secured credit cards. But I'd like to think that I'm talking to people that have a decent idea of their credit and can get at least a low limit credit card. That's how I have operated because then if there's weird charges on my credit card, they're easier to dispute than if it's a debit card where that's your cash. You don't want to do that now. Your checking account is for transactions. I rarely use my debit card. I'm afraid to use it because I don't trust using these damn machines. Scanning my card. Curly Q says the only thing that kills me in Chicago is traffic. I take the train when I go, but also I don't got no need to go to Chicago for what? If I find out I have to go to Chicago, it's usually, ugh. Sherwin, what are you doing this week? I gotta go to Chicago. Oh. Fat pizza land. Nobody want no fat pizza. I want skinny pizza. I want crispy crust pizza cut into squares. I don't even like triangle pizza. Triangle pizza makes the pizza taste funny. Just like if you eat soup out of a bowl with a spoon, it tastes one way. Put soup in a pint glass and drink it like a drink, and it tastes different. It's gross. I love clam chowder, but if you give me a glass of clam chowder, I'll fight your family. I'll be like the kids at State Fair. Thank you for listening. Lunch break is up next.
Milwaukee Public School families, the first day of school is Tuesday, September